In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to design this beautiful e-commerce website, and you can do a lot with it. As you can see, this e-commerce website is one of the websites I have built that is very long. It has one of the longest landing pages I've built, and everything that you are seeing here, you'd have access to it for free, and you learn how to build this and edit it yourself, and whatever you want to do with it, it's going to be up to you. So as we build it, we are going to have a shop page where you'll be able to add your own product, and also when you add your product, you can add it to cart and add any other thing that you feel like you want to add to it. And you can have your cart where you see the product that has been added to cart, right? So then also you can check out, and you can input the name, shipping address, shipping options, payment option, and also you can check out. There is a Figma template that comes with it, and the person that created this was Agata from the design lead. So she created this lovely landing page that we built into Elementor. So you can reach out to her, and I think she has a pro of this that has other lots of other pages and features and every other thing in between. And the Elementor website was designed by yours truly. So if you like this, we would send all the template files and everything to our design community. I'm going to drop a link to it, and if you've not joined our community, you can, because there's going to be lots of stuff coming very, very soon. Also, before you install or put in the template, make sure you have all these plugin put together, because it is very, very important for you to have them, because some things may not actually import, especially the Elementor pages, if some of these plugins are not installed. And also there is going to be a timestamp, so don't worry about this. It's going to be on the YouTube channel where I would show you everything that we were doing or we did in the video. So without wasting time, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So before you install WordPress, you need to get a hosting and domain. So you may be asking, what does this mean? A hosting is a place where your website lives, right? So, and your domain name is like www, like the way you are saying this, www.hosting.com. This is a domain name, right? And the first company that you can register your hosting is Hostinger. Yeah, I know it sounds like the way it sounds, right? So, and if you come down to their service package, you can see web hosting. Yeah, you might be tempted. It's almost the same thing, but preferably you click on web hosting, and if you want domain, you can get the domain separately. But each web hosting comes with a free domain, so you don't have to get, except your domain, you want to just get it by yourself. But each one comes with a free domain. So all you just have to do is register for this plan and get a free domain that you can attach to your website. So also Namecheap is also available, right? You can use a shared hosting, reseller, VPS, but for a small website, you start with a shared hosting. And I think, yeah, the Stellar Plus is also very nice. You can start with this, and yes, they give I think they give a free domain name. Let me be very sure about that. Okay, I'm not seeing anything like a free domain name here, so they don't give that. But if you see it, cool. But you have things like free SSL certificate and some other things, right? So then you have the last guy here, which is Ionos. Of recent, some of my clients are using this, so you can also look into them as well. So these are three hosting companies I can recommend. There are others, right? But I've used these three more than any other ones here. So the next thing that we need to do is working on the dashboard. If you had gone with Hostinger, this is what hosting that dashboard looks like. So if you come down to this place here on the home page, you can see that you'd have your hosting, as if you bought the hosting, and you have different hosting accounts. Like mine, I have several hosting accounts on it, but yours will just be just one hosting, right? And it may not have a website, because remember, you bought one without a website. So you can click on manage. And when you click on manage, you have the option to add a website to it, and then you can add the free website that Hostinger give to you. You can say, okay, create a website, then click on next. Then you are going to choose, you can start with an empty HTML. The reason why you start with this is because of you are not ready to install WordPress yet. I usually start with this. Then you're going to choose the website that you are supposed to choose. So once you are done with this, it will take you to somewhere like this. So it's going to take you to somewhere like this. Then all you just have to do is activate your email, because emails are very important. So now once you activate and create an email account, so for you to see what that is, you can go through here and you can go through emails as usual. So if you click on this, it's going to tell you to create a new email. There will be an empty email here and you can always create one. Then you go to your mailbox, create a new mailbox. So that is how you create a new one. You put in the information that you want and you can save it. So going back to our dashboard, how do you install WordPress in Hosting? It's fairly very easy. So take for example, now I already have installed one, but let's say I want to install in this place. So you click on auto install. It's going to ask you WordPress. Just click on WordPress. As you can see, there is already an installation here. So I can click on WordPress. Then going to ask you for title. You put in the title, you put in your email, you put in your username, you put in your password. Then if you want to install into a subdirectory, like for example, now what you see here is KKC workspace slash arouser is a completely different site. If I remove this and I click on this, you would see that this is a total different site completely. So now that is how sometimes you would see that when a site has www.this slash admin or login or something, and it's totally different from the website itself, and you're asking how is that even remotely possible. That is what we call installing in a subdirectory, meaning inside this directory you can install it. So but if you are installing on your normal domain, just don't put anything here, just keep here empty. So except you want to install in a subdirectory. So I'm just explaining that to you. But in normal norms, you don't put anything here, so you leave here empty. Then you click on next. So once you click on next, it would start installing and you would have your WordPress site installed. So if you go through Namecheap, it will take you to a place called cPanel. So installing WordPress and cPanel is not that difficult as well. You would have your account here. So once you click on Sophistelius, it will take you to something like this. As you can see, I have many installations, so it's fairly almost the same thing. And you can click install. The good thing about this is sometimes most of these hosting companies can assist you to do this, right? And they have tons of materials. So that's why sometimes I usually don't waste doing this or time, but because of this is a new course, right? I just still have to show you, because there are tons of materials out there that shows you how to install, and sometimes they can do it for you. But if you want to be the professional, this is how you go about it. So for this, you put your site name. cPanel has its own is log, it has processes. So you put your name, put your site description, put your admin, you put your password, you put your email. Right, if you want to create your email account, is very easy. I think this is even easier than Hostinger. So all you have to do, okay, so you click on create. Then this is where you put in all the information that is needed. The accounts, like let's say you're creating hi or hello, put in your password. You don't need to do anything here. Then you click on create. So this is how you create your email account, just in case you need to create one. So now when you get back to Sophistelius, right, you don't need to select all these things. You on select everything that is selected here. So you can do that during your installation. Then you can install this. It's not too bad, but I do used to deactivate it once I install it. So there's no much thing for you to do in advance, right? But you can always click on it. Then you click on install. Then it's going to install WordPress to your account. So it is fairly that easy. So after installing your WordPress, this is what you might get. You may not have my name. So, or yeah, it you definitely have your own name. So in order to access your dashboard, all you just have to do is click on your domain name slash WP admin. So this is like WordPress default login. So I'm going to put my username and password. So once you put in your email and password, all you just have to do is click on login. So now, welcome to WordPress dashboard. As you can see here, you have your sidebar at the left hand side where you have your dashboard and so many other things, and here you have all the information you might need. So now this is the first thing I usually do. So I cancel everything that is not needed, right? I even cancel this, then I come down to screen, I literally turn everything off, so to make my dashboard smoother and cleaner. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to settings. Very important. So if you have a tagline, you can put a tagline here. So for tagline, I'm just going to, so since what we'll be building is going to be a furniture based website, right? So all we just have to do is write something about furniture. We just put letter fun for now. So this is where you put your site icon. We'll get to that. You're going to check if your domain name has a certificate, but you just check HTTPS, right? Then the next thing you have to be sure of is your email. Then you check every other thing that is very important. So one of the most important thing here is your permalinks. So you come down to your permalinks and check if it's on post name. If it's not on post name, kindly change it to host name. So you can go down to writing. There's so much not to do here. When we are coming to writing a blog, we would come down here. So same thing with reading. Then discussion is where you turn off anything that has to do with comments, right? So but since the site doesn't have blog for now, we may not have anything to worry about this for now. But if you have anything blog related, right, we can put user must be registered to log in. Allow you read very well. So you read through it and make sure you anything you don't want, it's clicked. So users, before a comment appears, comment must be manually approved. So everybody, whoever the admin is, manually approve it. So this is where you can put your comments, moderations, disallowed, and whatever thing you want to use here. So this is what they would look like here. So that's this stuff down here, that each person that comment is what is going to have. So now all these things are not that important. The rest we will do that along as we walk in the video. So all you just have to do now is just click on save and we go to the next thing. So the next thing we need to do is appearance. So for appearance, I am going to go with Kadence. I choose this ahead of Elementor in terms of appearance because I have more controls on the things that we want to do, and I always love Kadence for that. We're going to be installing Kadence and it's going to ask you to install a starter template. So once you install the starter template, you can click on this. So once you click on that, we don't need to do anything anymore. In order to effectively build our site, we have to install some certain plugins. So the number one plugin we're going to install is Elementor. You go to plugins by clicking on this. So what are plugins, you may ask? So plugins allows us to give extra functionalities to our websites, especially WordPress websites. So for example, now it's more like adding legs, adding arms, and some other things that would help us, function. Right. So the next thing we're going to do is click on add plugin, and the first plugin we're going to add is Elementor. So I'm going to click on popular actually. Then we're going to go to install Elementor. So but if you cannot find it in popular for some certain sake, you can actually search and you'll be able to find it there. Then you click on activate. So once you click on activate, to bring all these things, all you have to do is just close. So now you have your Elementor here. Then you can turn it off here, your Elementor overview, so it doesn't distract your dashboard or anything. So the next plugin that we need to install is Ultimate add-on for Elementor. So now this is going to help us with header and footer. So if you don't find it, sometimes you can just put header, then you find it here. So Ultimate add-on for Elementor, more like header and footer. So this is the one that we're going to install. So we're going to click on this. Now once we click on this, I may not want to activate it because it's going to take us out of this page. So I'm going to search for the next plugin, which is WooCommerce. So we install it as well. So I'm yet to activate them. I'm going to install the other plugin. The name of this one is FiboSearch. During the course of our training, I'm going to show you what this does. And we are going to install use any font. It's going to be a custom font because from what we have here, we have some custom fonts for this. So we're going to install this. Then the last but not the least, we're going to install Kadence block. So once you are done installing, you can install one and activate one after the other, but sometimes it will have to always take you out of this place. So but if you did it the way I did it, you can come to install plugins, and any other plugin that is not installed, you can activate them one after the other. So now I would activate commerce because some other plugins rely on WooCommerce. So I'm going to activate that first. Then once I activate that, I'm going to select this, select this, select this, select this. Then I'm going to click on activate. Then I'm going to apply. So all our plugins have been activated. And if we go back to our plugin page, which is down here, we click on plugin and we can find that all this plugin is activated. And if you see any plugin that's outdated, you can update them. So now we are done with this. So now we are going to the next thing. We are going to be setting up Elementor, and you may be asking, what does Elementor does and what will it do for us, right? So Elementor is more like the page builder. So this website, this landing page, this is what we are going to use Elementor to build each and every one of this section. So Elementor would help us build it section by section. So now what are the settings that we need to do? There are lots of settings in Elementor, but this is just the primary thing that we need to do first. So we're going to click on this. If you may ask, why this? Why am I thinking this? So now if you remembered, we installed Kadence theme in our appearance. So the reason why this is its Kadence. So the reason why I am choosing Kadence color is because Kadence has a much better color and fonts system, right? And I for e-commerce sites, there is a lot you can do with Kadence than Elementor itself. That is why I am going for it. So we deactivate that and we save, so you know the reason behind why I am doing this. So now the next thing is telling us to take, set this up. So no problem, let's go there. Okay, we're already here, so probably maybe that's why it's not taking us there. So it's saying that we should go to Elementor settings, performance, then so just leave it be. There's no need to change this. So now this is the settings that we have to do with Elementor for now. The next thing we have to do now is create a coming soon page. Okay, so now in order for us to create our coming soon page, what we need to do is go to tools under Elementor. Under Elementor, we are going to find maintenance. So now what we are going to do is we are going to click on create. So because we have to choose a template, once we choose coming soon. So now we're going to open this in a different tab. Then we put in the name coming soon. Then we check for other things that are very important. So from here, I'm going to change this to Elementor Canvas. So what does Elementor Canvas mean? It means there's not going to be a header, there's not going to be a footer on the site. It's just going to be like a canvas, like a body, dash, just a blank canvas. You see what it is. So I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to check if there's any other thing I need from here. If there's nothing I need from here, then I'm going to click on publish. So once I'm done with publish, then I'm going to click on edit with Elementor. So now or you can skip, right? So now this is Elementor, and this is more like the first introduction to Elementor. So on your left hand side, you find things like, I used to call them Elementor call it elements, I call them tools, right? So you have your settings here. So this is where you have some settings, and on the right here you have structure. So you may not be seeing it, but whenever you add any items here, right, or any elements here, you would be able to see them here. So now without wasting much time, we're going to add the container. So now this container is more like, either for Elementor, we don't have things like rows, columns, and all those many things. So one container gives you the ability, just like building blocks, or let's say Lego, right? So but with these containers, you can now define your own rows, you can define your own columns and the rest. So now, but by default, if you click here, So you can see that it tells you, okay, how many sections do you want, this, right? So it's also here and makes it very easy as well. But you can either drop down or click the plus icon. So now let's select this. Is the same thing as, using the initial one I chose. So if you click here and you feel like, oh, I need to see the element bar, all you just have to do is click on this and you'll be able to see your elements again. So the next thing we need to do is, because of this is a canvas and we want it to be full width whatever we add, so I'm going to click on this. Then I am going to come down to height. So view height is 100%. So whatever screen I'm using, the height is going to cover everything. So this is the structure that I'm going to remove because it usually is to obstruct what I'm doing. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to be exporting this logo, because that is what we are going to make use of. Okay, so I've exported the logo. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this plus icon, which I already did. Then we're going to drag image. So this is why we call it a drag and drop builder. So I'm going to select this. So that is it there. You may not be seeing it because of the color and probably the size. So I'm going to change the color of the background of the website. So I'm going to pick one of this color. So this is not like our permanent solution. So this is something we're going to use temporarily for our coming soon page. So we're going to, so that it wouldn't look very fast. So all I did was I clicked here, right, which is on the body of this page. Then I went to style, then I click this and I paste. So I noticed that I was very fast, and I'm sorry about that. So, and you can click here, then we come back to layout and we're going to position it in the center, right? So we position it like this, and then we check for different sizes. I think this is perfect. If you want to increase it, you can actually increase it. So if you click on this, so note these are different these are different elements. So this is a container element, this is an image element. So if you select the image element, you can actually increase the size and everything, but I feel it's going to be, yeah, blur, because we didn't export it in a very large size to give it that. So we have this, and we're going to publish and we're going to view. So this is how it's going to look like. So but we can still add something like coming soon or under construction. So we can just say, then we're going to give it white for now. This is not the font I want to do, so all the font and everything's coming in the next chapter, so we're going to do that. So for typography, I will just leave it to the default this thing. I'm going to give it 12, then I'm going to give it uppercase. I'm just going to, for the sake of enter later spacing -1, then I'm going to position it in the middle. Then let's do this to see where it is. So if it's not cute, I'm going to remove it, but it's going to be cute, don't worry. So now we have the height and the margin and this stuff. So what I'm going to do is, because of the size between the spaces between this is just weird, so I'm just going to throw it like this. As you can see, we have this, right? So another thing again we can do is I can further reduce it to somewhere between 11, and I would reduce, let's just give it a little bit of off-white. Perfect. So you can use CA, right? Just like it was meant for us. So this is our coming soon page. Nothing too aesthetically killing. Just did this too. So when users come, they can see a coming soon page and either get back or something. So most persons can advance this by putting social icons and everything. And if you want to do that, you can also click here and say social icon. So you can put your social icon here and do all this. But for now, this is what we want. We are keeping the aesthetics clean. So now we have our coming soon page. So now what we need to do is, we are done with this, we've published it, and we have what we want. So now we are going to refresh this page, that's this tools page. Then when we refresh the tools page, we're going to come here to coming soon. We're going to click on coming soon. So I'm going to open an ignito so that I'm going to show you if what we did is correct or wrong. So this is going to be an Ignito browser, and if I paste this here, we see the normal RSS landing page. Then if I click on save, this red stuff comes on our website. Then this is our Ignito browser. So if I click on refresh, okay, so I know what happened. So this anytime we are building with, there's a particular plugin I'm going to show you, because it actually does this every time. So it's called Lightspeed Cache. So it catch your site and save details for users. So what we are going to do is, on this page, we are going to catch it. So we're going to purge all or whatever it has saved so far. And once we've done that, we're going to go back to this page and click on refresh. So as you can see, our coming soon page has been activated. So we're going to close this, and the next thing is we're going to customize our Kadence theme so that we can set up images, text, colors, and every other thing in between. So in this chapter, we're going to be installing a custom font. So if you look at our design, we notice that this is not normal font. This was used from a custom font. So now if you want to use a custom font and the font isn't a Google font, not something you can easily find on your website, right? That's why we installed use any font. So once you click on it, that's on the use any font here, all you just have to do is generate light. I think there's a restriction for it. You can get the premium, but the reason why I like this one is you can install it and it affects the whole site. Some of these custom fonts, especially the free ones, only just allows you to, either for Elementor, for a page builder or something, but this one affects the whole site. So now if you come here, you can come to upload, and it's going to ask us what is the font name. So I'm going to upload the font, but let me upload it first, because I think from there I'll be able to pick the name. So this is the name of the font. So I'm just going to come here and just pick this reckless, right? So I'm going to select this. It has regular, so I'm just going to pick one of these. So any of these works. So I'm just going to pick this. That's WOOF. This is a web font format. It's different from your normal fonts that you'd install in your laptop. So I'm going to select this. Then I'm going to paste this here, so it's going to be easy to recognize when I'm searching for it to make use of. So I'm going to just do this. Then okay, so I'll check if there's anything. Enable font weight variation. Variation, what this means is, if you have regular, if you have bold, if you have italic, you can give a full variation. So now I would click on upload. So as you can see, this is it here. So I think it allows for 2 or 3. You can check the premium. I would have to check that to be very, very, very sure. So if you click here, it will take you to this pricing page. That's if you want to buy it. If you're using Elementor Pro, you don't need to do this. It comes with it. But if you are building a free website and you don't want to, go around buying Elementor Pro and all that, you can buy it. I think it's a one-time fee, then you can purchase it. So that is that. We've had this, and the next thing is for us to customize our site. So the next thing we are going to be doing is we are going to be customizing our theme. You can go through here, right? Or also you can go through our website itself, which is through here, the customizer. So whichever way you go through, you are going to get to the customizer. So before going to the customizer, let's just do some little updates. We are going to position this here, position this here. So yeah. So now going back to the customizer, you can see we are using Kadence theme to work on our fonts and everything. As you can see, it's very arranged and easy to access anything that you want to access. So if you come here, you can see that we have our colors, typography, and everything. We're going to be setting this one after the other. And also there's a button here. This is actually a new feature, so you can see your logos and everything that you are having here. So now let's go to color. Let's do this one after the other. So for the first one, the accent color, we are going to have this as our accent color. So we're going to use this. So we're going to pick the color code. So you can also copy the color code as well. Let me put this here as the deep one. Then here, we're going to make use of this. We're going to place it here. Oh, did I just change? Jesus, I changed the main one from our one I did. So Just going to go back to edit it again. Okay, good. So this we can still leave it because this is a new stuff, so I'll still leave it as this, right? So now we have the contrast is still the same thing as text. So as you can see here, strong text, lower text, so you don't get yourself confused a little bit. So we're going to come down here and we're going to use, this is going to be our strong text. The stormy is going to be used as our strong text, followed by smoke, then followed by hash. Okay, then the last one is subtext. I'm just going to use hash for that. So now this one now is going to be our subtle background, light background, and off-white or white. So now we're going to start with the off-white because we're very sure of what that would be, which is this. So we're going to take this. Then our subtle background, we're going to select the oyster. So I'll take the cloudy. Then lastly, I'm going to take lenient. Okay, so once we've done that, this is just for success, notice, alerts. This is just for, some um how do I put them, alerts in general. So now we have, as you can see how they look like here, and you can adjust that later on. So now the next thing we're going to do, the background by default is using off-white. So it's using the off-white, that's this here. Okay, so then content background, same thing. That's okay, we don't need to touch this. So okay, so now for normal buttons, the background would always be this, right? And we're going to use white as the text. So don't worry, it's not going to affect this ones. We're going to come back to this. So now we've done everything in this place. Let's publish so that our settings would be saved. We're going to go back, then we're going to go to typography. So now this is where we're going to bring in the typography. We're going to be making use of one we are doing is you're going to be saying everything here. So we're going to be using inter. Once you tap here, you're going to search for inter. So once we search for inter, we're going to leave it at regular. Then here we're going to take it to 14 by default. Then once we take it to 14 by default, here we're going to give it minus 0.005. Oh, let me see, 5. Okay, so let's give it 1. Okay, so now minus 0.003, it's preferable. So now the reason why I did it is because of you check the spacing between the lines. It makes it looks much clean and crisp. So for the header, we are going to use the new font that we installed, that's Reckless. So as you can see, it's been adopted. For now, I am not changing anything, right? But if we check our design, we already have a style guide of 90 something. That's our h2 is 72, but there's a clear difference that in the site when building we made use more of h2, that is 30 something. So I may increase this to 36, right? So I'll increase that to 36. So I'm just going to leave it there, then the rest I'm going to leave it as they should. So we're going to click on publish, then check what fonts they use as text. So I'm going to check every other thing, and h1 title, so every breadcrumb, everything is going to be black. So I don't think there's nothing we need to do here. So we're going to click on save, and we're going to go back here, and this is like base button size. I think for our buttons we don't really have issues with it. So yes, we don't really have issues with them for now. Secondary button, which is this is the secondary button here. So we're going to leave it at that for now. Then the outline, so that's that. Then for the header, we are going to go to the logo and we are going to add the logo. So we already have the logo. We're going to import it. I'm just going to select all these because we will need them. So we're going to select white, skip. So now, so you see what the logo looks like, we're going to cancel this, right? So this is our heading. So we're going to go back to the logo settings so that we know what we're doing. Go to back to header logo. As you can see, this is the settings. Then we say logo alone, so you can't see the logo because of the settings that was used. So we're going to come here, and so I don't think there's anything we need to do to the padding and everything. So for the site icon, we're going to come here and we're going to select the site icon. So this is the site icon. We call it favicon as well. So this icon that you are seeing here, same with Figma, we're going to change ours. So we're going to keep cropping, and as you can see, it is here. So we're going to click on publish. Then we're going to go back. Then we're still going to go back to the heading. So if you notice, the header, it's not clear, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on design, and we're going to change this to this. So as you can see, the logo is large enough. So now this particular chapter, we are not working on logo header. So we're going to just do the default thing for now. Then when it's now time for us to do the header, we're going to work on the header and footer. So now at least we have what we want, and we're going to go to primary navigation. So now there's no primary navigation here. So let's go back so that you understand what I mean. So we go to header, we go to primary location navigation. So we are done with the logo. So now once we come around here, we're going to click on design, and I don't think there's anything we need to do here. But for the menu, we're going to come to select menu because we don't have a primary menu yet. We're going to create a primary menu, and we are going to add something. So we're going to call this main menu. So once we call this main menu, click on next, and we're going to add items to it. So for now, on our main menu, we're going to add things like our shop, my account. So then we would add homepage. So there is no homepage created yet, but we're just going to create it here. So you can create your pages here. We're going to talk about this later on in the video. So I'll click on publish so that whatever I've done is saved. So as you can see, it is here, right? So like I said, when it comes to header and footer, we're going to come back to this. So as for footer, if we have any footer item, we are going to come back to them. So as you can see at the bottom here, we'll be having things like store, shop, collection, everything here that you're saying. I'm going to show you how to create them in the footer. Then as for the header, we only just for now have the shop icon and the bag. So that is not what we need to worry about till we get there. So the next thing that we are going to do is going to go to the general settings. So for this layout, we are going to remove it. So because currently we're using Elementor's layout, so we're going to clear this. So we're going to just clear this, and we're going to put 1140. So this is more like the layout that we're going to make use of. Then we're going to put 0 here. So you would understand why I'm doing all this when we start building on elements. So the rest, you just leave it, you don't do anything to it, and click on save. So there are other settings here like sidebar settings. You can have 404 error layout if you want to work on your 404 layout. Then we have social links, all the links that has to do with social media that will be here. This is where you would come to it. So you see why I prefer this over elements. So there are a lot of settings we can do there. So we now have page layout. Page layout is also very important. So now for page layouts, let me click on the home page, for example. So you see what I'm talking about. So something like this, I'm just going to turn it off. So by default, we don't have that. Then each page is going to be unboxed. So if you notice, if I do not box it, you see that there's a shadow stuff here. So I'm going to click on unboxed. At least there'll be a vertical spacing, and we'll leave all this. So I'm just going to click on publish. So this is what you can do for your um, page. So now for search, just leave it. For a single identity, we've already done that through the header. So now menus, we've already done our main menu. Once it's time to do our footer menu, we're going to do our footer menu. So the next thing is widget. We are not using widgets. Homepage setting, very important. So now when you click on the home page, it is going to take you to blog, because of by default the site is set to blog. So we're going to set it to static, meaning when you click on www.arosa.com, you are supposed to go to the home page. So you can choose which pages is going to be the first page, anybody visit when they click on your website. So we're going to select our home page. Then posts is we're going to um, use a blog post for that. But for now, we are going to leave that empty. So now WooCommerce will come back later to this. So now this is where you have any additional CSS, you can apply it here. Then import and export. This is where you import all these settings that you've done. If you want to use them in another site, you can import them and also export them, so you don't have to be doing things over and over again. So if there's anything that we've missed, we can always come back to it and modify it. So the next thing we're going to be doing is building the website itself. So we are going to be designing the landing page, and this is what the landing page looks like. So I think I have showed you guys everything. So we're going to be designing this. Yes, it's going to be a long one, but we're going to do it. So the first thing is we need to create a page, which we did when we're customizing Kadence. So now we created the home page, which is the home page that we're going to be designing. So to edit it, we're going to click on edit. Okay, so once edit comes up, I don't think we need to change anything for now. Then we click on edit with element. Okay, so once we have done that, in Elementor there is, I think I've explained this in the last one of the sections before now. So we have things elements on the left hand side, that is on the coming soon page, right? And we have several elements. So to build this first section, we call this the hero section, right? So to build the hero section, we would need, so let's take it to be like in bridges or in blocks. So now this is one block, and this could be several blocks, meaning there could be one block here, there could be one block here, and there could be one block here. So Elementor calls them sections. So now if I click this, I can have, when I click on flexbox, we can have different sections. So I'm maybe gunning for this because there is a high tendency that this may be in future being increased to something else, right? So I have this, right, and I can reduce this to, let's say, 10, right, and I will reduce this to 10, then which is 10, 10, that's 20, and this will be 18. So we've done the maths. Then I click on publish so that I can see what we are doing. In order to see what we are doing, we're going to do this. Don't worry, we're going to work on the header. That would be like the last set of things that we're going to do. So now whatever I do here, we can preview it. So the first thing is that I'm going to take my text. I'm going to just put this here because I'll be using this a lot. So we're going to take this text and we're going to take this button. So now for the text, we are going to come to the text and we're going to put the header text. So we already have the header text here. So we're going to centralize it and we're going to copy the text. So I'm just going to replace it because that particular text isn't on my PC. So I would replace this. Okay, so I'm going to increase this to 40 first. Once I increase it to 40, then I'm going to put a command here, br. So this is just more like pushing it to the other line, right? So I realized something, and you too be able to make that mistake. So one of the things that we have in the original text is this text is going to be waving as italic. So in order not to make the same mistake I made, you would click, because you might want to do it and may ask what's the difference between a header text and a body text. So now with the body text, we can manipulate items, right? I can manipulate this. I can, you see, as I made this italic, I can do things here, but with this I would not be able to do things. I would not be able to manipulate it as much. And also, this is also very important, this has ability for you to, one of the other benefits of the header text is the header text has links. So if you are dealing with anything links related, choose the headers. So each and every one of them has benefit over the other, right? So we're going to delete, not necessarily delete this, I'm just going to exit, delete, then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. But we don't need this again anymore because we don't need to use that format for it. So now we're going to increase this to 40, and once we increase it to 40, I'm going to change the text to this, as you can see here. So now looking back at our design, then the letter spacing in between, we're going to adjust it. So this is the only difference we'll now start making little adjustments. And later spacing, we're going to reduce it right. Yes, I think this is way much better. I think we have to give this to like 50. Yeah, this looks nice. Then we would give this 42. It's me. Let's just give it, let's see, 46. Yeah, 46 is fair enough. So I click on publish. Then if I check my workspace, this is it. And we check our design. We have something like this. So now a feature in our text, right, is italic. So what do? We come to content, select it, and we have achieved that in the design. Okay, so the next thing is there needs to be a spacing between the height, the heights. So what we're going to do is we're going to use viewpoints. So our view height is going to be 100, right? So meaning whatever device you're using, the whole arrow section would cover it. So now, as we've done that, we're going to put the item in the center. So we're going to align the item to the center. Let's check that. Yes, the item is aligned to the center. So now we're going to bring in a background. Click here, take an image, then we're going to import an image, then select. This is using our off-whites. We're going to select it, come back here, select the color. We're going to select our global color, right? So this is where we select color and we choose the off-white. Isn't that beautiful? So the next thing that we are going to do is, if you check, it seems that it's kind of how do I put it, it's kind of like creating an extra. It's like it's got to the extreme and it's creating an extra. So how do we fix that? We're going to come back here by clicking on this. Then we are going to come down to display size and we're going to click on cover. So once it covers everything. Then click on publish, then we see our design. So isn't this beautiful? So the next thing that we're going to do, I think we might have to increase this, right? So we're going to increase it again. Let's just give it to around yeah, 65. Then we are going to add our button. So for our button, we are going to do some settings because by default this is the WordPress button. So we are going to align the button to the center. And this is it. So in order to have this button pop up almost everywhere, meaning we have to have the same button almost everywhere, we are going to go to an Elementor settings because since we are using Elementor, right, we're going to edit the Elementor button. So I'm going to click on this here, site settings. Then when I come to site settings, I'm going to come to buttons. So buttons here, we're going to have the background color. Remember, we're going to use a global color. Use the satin. As you can see, it has changed, and the strong text, as you can see. So but there's a little bit slight difference between the button that we have here. So this is more like a more customized button. So we're going to have this, that's the padding, right? As you can see, we can manipulate that. Okay, so I think 5. For the top, we're going to give it 8, bottom 8, then 10. So but the right and left, we're going to give it like 20, 20. Then for the text, we're going to reduce it a little bit to around 12. Yeah. Okay, so now once someone hover on the text, what will happen, right? So I feel like we can give it dark, right? So we're going to have this, then have the white. So on hover, you have something like this. This is good. So this is going to be like our default text stuff that we're going to save. So now then I have not forgotten this looks so we're going to click on cancel, because if you not cancel it, not go back to the site. So we're going to click here and we're going to go back to our line height. Okay, that line height is okay. Then we're going to click on refresh. Okay, So another thing again we can do is we can help to put the space at the top, because I feel with our design, due to the spacing our header is taking, right, we can either make this a transparent design and take this up here so that we can, have it make or have a good look. So what we're going to do is we would, let's try spacer, something I want to try. Good. So now this spacer would help jack up this. So when we publish, we have this sitting somewhere here, right? So have this looking like this. So now the next thing we are going to do is we're going to be building out this section. So this section is kind of tricky in a way, but we are going to, we're going to build it. So now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to also still use this. Okay, so the first thing here is, since there is no real effect on this, we can use the normal header. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to copy the text. Then we can increase this size to, let's use 40 first. Yeah, for now. Okay, so we're going to take the second paragraphs and we're going to put this. So we're going to do this and we're going to position it in the middle. Then we're going to copy the text under it and we're going to paste. So we're going to publish. Okay, now, so we're going to work on the um, header. So now there is an image at the top. So looking at this, we have one image at the top and some other images on both sides. So let's work on that. Then we can, let's, before taking the image, let's take the button, copy. You can right click here and you can paste. So now, because of the button is a little bit slightly different, we have this as, let's copy it, read about it. Okay, so another thing again we notice is the button has stroke and it's using the background that's white. So we're going to edit that. We're going to pick white as the color. As you can see, it's gone. Then we're going to add a border. We're going to put solid 1 and hover. We're going to go to background color. We're going to pick black and we're going to pick white. Okay, so we're going to publish it and we see what we have. Yes, so the stroke edges are not are not that visible, so we're going to come down to this and on hover, that's on the border hover, we're going to select something very light. Let's try the second one. It's not as subtle as the first. So what we're going to do is, okay, so we're just going to pick this, that's the normal accent, and we're going to pick it to around 50%. Okay, we took it to 30%. So at least we've gotten something very, very similar to what we have on our Figma design. Okay, so this is it, and we can read about it. So, and this is what we have here. So we have this text, we have the head, the contents. Let's increase this a little bit. I am tempted to increase it a little bit. Let's give it 50. Yeah, it's now has that, largeness to it. So now it's now time to add the image. That's this image here. So we are going to add the image. Then after adding the image, what image is that? That's good. So now we have to, for the box. So in case you are wondering what I'm doing, so if I close this container, you can see that this container here, this is the first container we did. That's this one here. And the second container, this is what we did here. And we have the image that we have. And each containers, meaning this is container 1, container 2, container 3. So this is it here. So now we're editing this one. So in editing this one, this is whatever, this is how it shows, it will highlight it. So now we want to, put paddings. So now paddings work like inside. Paddings are more like the spacings inside, and margins are the spaces outside. So you see what I mean. So now if you notice, as I removed this, there was a space there. So I'm going to add 80/40. That's the top is going to be 80, then the bottom is going to be 40. So I'm going to publish again, then you're going to see it. So this is what we have here. So I'm going to check in our design again. I want to be very sure about something. Okay, it's the same. So yeah, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give a little bit of spacing at the top. So we're going to also give a little bit of padding at the top. So let's just say 10, so that the spacing between here, there'll be a little bit distance in it. You get, so we have that spacing. So the next thing is these images by the side. So we're going to add images here. Let's deal with this first. So this particular image is at the middle, somewhat at the middle. Same thing with here, and it is left aligned. So we're going to put it somewhat at the middle. So let's bring in the image, the real image that's supposed to be there. Okay, let's take a quick look at it. So then we are going to position it, select the image itself, and we're going to position it to the right. We make sure it's going to be at the right hand side. Then also the body, so that it doesn't look like there is edge. If you notice, if you look very deep, there's an edge here. So we're going to do this to it. So we're going to do 0. As you can see, no more edges around it. Then we're going to select this, and we're going to centralize it right somewhere there. Then let's close this for now, as we have this here. So it's bringing this pillow here. So now we have the pillow. We are also going to add that as well. Same thing we did first. We are going to loosen it, meaning nothing is going to, no padding at the sides. Then the pillow 2 is on the right hand side. So let's select the pillow image. So we select it, then we bring it to the left hand side. Then as this, we would bring it to the center. So as you can see, we have achieved these two. Let's see what our design looks like. Let's close this. I can't wait to edit the header. So if you want to, like, we want to seamlessly see what we are doing without obstruction of the header or footer, this is another thing you can do. You can come to settings, and you can come to page layout and canvas. So I would not advise you to publish this as like your main final work, but if we don't want to have any constraints or anything, this is what it's going to probably look like. So I noticed something, I want to be very sure about that. There was a sudden spacing bottom between this and this. Let me reset that. Let me change this to what I have. Okay, I don't know if you guys noticed that. So we're gonna keep it like this. I don't know why that spacing is. I just have to be sincere with you. Probably it's the Elementor settings, so we're just gonna keep it this way. But if you just want to edit without the header and footer showing, you can actually do it that way. So now we have these two here. How are we going to do that? So we are going to duplicate this one we just did. We're going to duplicate. Now once you duplicate, you have this. So we're going to look at our design, and we're going to delete the items in the middle, leave these two ones at the side. So what we're going to do is the duplicated item, which is this. We're going to delete everything in the middle. Then the top padding, let's see, do we need, yes, we have to drag it. This is even going, we're going to need it more than where it is. So we are going to do something to it now. So I'm just going to put this at 0. So as you can see, it is around somewhere here. So if you check, it's somewhere here. So I'm going to show you how to do that immediately. So now, first of all, we have to replace the images. So we have the images of a bed with a bed stand, and we have wall. Okay, let's see if we have that. We're going to click here, and this we're going to replace it with the wall. Okay, so once we are done with this, we check again with our design. So if you notice, this is going to the very edge of the design, right? So how do we achieve this? Don't have to panic. If I click publish, and if you check this, you could see that they are very much at this edge. So what are we going to do? We're going to come here. We're going to click on this. Then we are going to change this to full width. You get so full width. Then we're going to bring this to the right hand side. We're going to click on publish. When we click on publish, as you can see, it is here, right? So we're getting closer. Then we're going to take it up because it is somewhere in the middle between this text. So how are we going to do that? So we're going to come back here. We're going to go to advanced, and this time we are going to use margin. Remember, I said padding is the space inside an item, while margin is the space outside. So we need margin for this. So we have to crop the space outside. So then I think um, 85 is fine by me. Any other thing would look too close. So if you come down here, this is perfect. I think this is perfect, right? This is perfect. So this is what we have. Then I'm feeling we need to give some spacing to our top. Let's just give it 20, because looking at this, I feel we need more space there. Right, so this is what we have. So now lastly, for this section, we have this, right? So now the same thing we're going to do, we're going to duplicate this. Then this time around, we're so that we don't get confused, we're going to remove this for now. Or even if we don't remove it, we're going to reduce it to around so around this place, yeah, so we don't get confused. So I'm going to delete this because we don't need the one on the left hand side. That's this. We don't need this side, we only need this. Then we're going to move this to, we click on it, then we're going to move it to the left hand side. So now moving it to the left hand side, we are going to change the image. So we're going to click this. Okay, so we're going to publish. We're going to see what we have here. So now we're going to bring it very much to this place in order not to distract this. At the same time, we're going to bring it down a little bit so it doesn't look like it's on this guy. So we're going to, let me click on edit. So if you're finding it hard to select because hovering around it may give you a problem, all you can just do is click on edit content, right click and click on structure and close all containers, right? Then when you close all containers, you'll be able to find what you're looking for. So this is the last container that we are working with. So we can select it and we're going to remove everything. Good. So now removing everything, let's see. We're going to give it a little bit of padding, let's say 20, because we have some slight space between this. So now you'll be asking yourself, how do we now take this to the side? All you just have to do is select this, then same margin that we had, we're going to push it to the left like this, right? Something like this. Yeah, something like that. Then we click on save. You look at our sites again here, and we have something like this. So if you check our design, I know here is a little bit much closer to this, but if you check, we need to not because of the spacing, so that it doesn't feel too close. Normally we can even jack this up, right? Because we check this one has a different height. It's actually very possible. So like I told you, we will just come here and we jack this a little bit. That's the margin top, a little bit at the top. nothing too much. Just give it a 73 to just give it an illusion, right? So now this can come up a little because this guy has come up a little bit. This can now come up a little bit. So now we can now have this, remove this, and we're going to now raise it up a little bit. Yeah, I think this is 20 looks fine to me. And we have this. So we can actually play around with this image later on to hover and make them look like they are very interactive. So I need to even start interaction immediately. So what I mean by interaction is if I click here, let's start with this. We're going to go to hover interaction and I'm going to click on one. And when I click on one, I'm going to select shrink because the button, so it's going to have the effect of you press it, right? So same thing here. I'm going to do the same thing to this. So I'm going to right click here and click on structure because a lot of things I can't touch again anymore. So the button, no, not this button. Okay, so this is the button, so we're going to do the same thing to the button. All right, then we're going to click on hover one, then I'm going to click on, sorry, shrink. So when you hover around it, it shrinks. It's going to shrink. It's just that we have to publish, and when you click here, so if you notice, we're not able to hover around it. So one way to go about that is we would make this first section, right? This first section you are seeing here, we're going to make it top, meaning you can stack them. It's just as if like Photoshop or um, Illustrator or whatever tool you use to design. So how do we stack items? So now this one, we are going to, there's what we call Z index. So I'm going to put one, meaning this is going to come first. It's going to be at the top. Then this section here, right, is going to be at the bottom. So I'm going to give it 0. So if I do that, you can see that this is clicking, meaning I brought this, let me publish. So I brought this section you are seeing here above and put this one, this section, this two section here under. So that is why we can click on this. So there is a lot to learn, right? So now we've done that. I think we have that, and we're going to be going to the next section. So before we go to the next section, I want to make this interactive like I said earlier on. And if you are still watching, thank you for getting to this particular place, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this to someone you think could help him or her. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to make this interactive in a way. So we're going to go to motion effects and we are going to do an entrance this thing. So we're going to like fade in and we're going to make it slow. So something like that. I'm not doing something too much. Then we're going to now do an hover effect too. So I like this hover effect to grow, and we're going to put it at 1, so something like this. So let me see, I want to copy and paste. Let me see, paste style. Okay, no, I'm not pasting style. Okay, I'm gonna paste style because it makes my work faster, right? But I'm just gonna take it back to where it was. So right click, paste style, nines. I'm gonna take it back to where it was. So this is a shortcut. So here, I'm not too sure our hovers may work so well here because of this section is coming above these guys here. So it may not really work for them. But one of the things that would really work for them is going to be the let me click on structure. Okay, let me come down. No, come down. Yeah. So post image, right click, paste style. I don't think it's moved because it's supposed to be where it is. We didn't select anything for it. Then the second one, sorry, that's the third one, which is this. That's this here. We're going to paste style. We're going to bring it to this. So I'm going to bring this here because I feel we might have changed the orientation. So I'm just going to take it there. Then let's publish and see what we've done. Then this is the last but not the least. Right click, paste style. Okay, so if we come to the very bottom, you could see that this thing here. So it's only if you select at the bottom. If you select the body here, it won't, because this section is already hovering around there. You get, so except you come down directly to this place. So the next thing that I am going to do is to now create the next section. So the next section, we are going to have this. So this is going to be interesting. So we have this first section and we have these sections. So the first thing I'm going to do here is, let me just clear this, is we are going to have this. Let me look at it very well again. Okay, so we're just going to have a flat one out, right? Just one flat one. Then we're just going to have this. Okay, so I'm going to paste this here. Then enjoy our product. So now I'm going to publish, right? So there's a reason why I'm publishing. So I need to get to see some things. So as you can see, we have this. Okay, so here now we have a distance between here. So we're going to do this. We're not going to do it so large, because remember we have something here. So I'm going to give this 8. I'm going to give this particular one at the end. I'm going to give it a bottom padding, right? I'm going to give it a bottom padding of 40. So at least it's going to leave this one alone. I think we'll increase it to 80, so that's going to be far off from it. Good. So now then, as for this, that's this new one here, we are just going to have this full width. You see why I want to put it full width, or let me do what I want to do, then you see the reason why I am going for full width. So if I come here and I say, okay, I need to add a border, and I click on solid. Okay, then the border, because we check our design, we have the border at the top and at the bottom. Oh, I see where they used oyster. Okay, so we have solid, and we have the top, which is 1, and the bottom, which is 1. You see what I'm doing? So it's at the top here, at the bottom. So top, bottom. We're going to publish. Sometimes you don't need to generally publish, right? So as you can see, this is it here. So we're going to use something lighter for this. So we're going to use something lighter for the color. Yeah, let's use that, I think. So if you don't want to publish to see what you do, you can simply do this. So as you can see, I'm not really seeing that, so we would use something a little bit darker. So on our design, we used a particular color that we do not have on the stroke. Let me see if that works. So we'll just have to use it manually on the strokes, because the stroke is not something, especially this one, that's evolved on the design frequently. So no, that was a different color. Yep. Okay, good. So we're going to publish to see how that turns out. Okay, good. So I know that there is a spacing at the top. So for some weird reasons, Elementor just gives spacing to that. I don't know why. That's why sometimes I find it very hard to start using headers, because of some unknown spacings at the bottom. So let's do this first. Let's see if we can clear out that spacing. It's still very well there, as you can see it here. So let me see if I centralize it, if it's going to work. I know this may not make any difference, but let's just do this. If it doesn't, we're just going to use, so yeah, I'm not going to use this. So sorry if you had used this. I just have to show you why I'm not using it. So I'm going to use this rather. Copy, paste, centralize. Let's delete. You can see this doesn't give you any extra issues. So more reasons why I'm always going for text editor than the header. So we're going to change this to the header. Then we are going to change this to 20. The weird thing this thing does, giving us this font size, then I'm going to change it. I'm going to change the settings. So it gives us the right font size that I want, especially when we use it here like this. So I think this is exactly what we have, exactly what we have. So I'm going to use this and I'm going to publish. So now, then when I publish, let's look at our design. Perfect, exactly what I want. So we have something. I want to check our customizer, especially for this, and let's see how thick. I think we chose a thick typography. Perfect. I knew something was wrong somewhere. So we're going to adjust this. So this is what this was supposed to be in the yeah. So then we are going to also give it some there are some things that we did here. Let's see. No. Let's copy. Right. So let's test. I think this one is using 2. Let's test it there and see how it looks like. Perfect. Oh jeez. Okay. So this is perfect. So we're going to, this is giving me exactly what I want. Okay. So it's not bad because customizer, we are always going to come back to this to make adjustments and do some other things. So now we can publish it and we can cancel. With this, we can actually sleep at night and know that we are having exactly what we want, right? So we can also refresh our elements so that it's going to reflect what we've done. So the next step is we're going to be building this. So I'm going to zoom in so that we can see exactly what this is. So we're going to start with this duvet, right? So the first thing is we are going to select this, then we're going to build 4. Then we're going to bring in an image, right? So first of all, drag in an image, come to layout, put it here. So also let's not forget we are going to do this as a full width, right? So we're going to put this box full width and we're going to click on publish. Then we're going to select the image. This is the duvet. We're going to select it. Then we're going to create another box, which is the container. We're going to place the container here. Sorry, it's not supposed to be there. Yes, there. So the next thing is that we're going to use a header, right? I know we've been having issues with these guys of recent, but we're going to manage their problem. So we're going to select this and we're going to take it to 14, right? So when we take it to 14, we're going to copy the first text, then we are going to paste, then I'm going to duplicate, then I'm going to align it to the left, then these two, let's align it to the right just in case, because sometimes if we don't give it a command it will misbehave. Then we're going to select this, then the direction we want all of them to be going this way, so we do it this way. Then we are going to give it separation, so meaning there's going to be space in between. So now it's looking weird because of the amount, so we are going to come here and take the right amount and we are going to paste it here. So you can see that it's not much of a problem. As you can see, we've done that. So let's see what we've done. So we're going to refresh and come down, and voila, we have this. And as you can see, it is where we want it to be. So what we can do is we can reduce the size or the spacings between both of them. So what we're going to do is we are going to click here and no, we're going to click the whole container itself because the container works for the spacings in between. Let's give it 10 a little bit, so let's say 5, and let's click on publish. Okay, yes, this is fairly close and fairly what I want. Also, I want to expand the image to be full width. When I mean full width, I want to try something like expanding it and making sure there is no space left anywhere. Good. So as you could see, when I did it full width, you could see that there is spaces at the edge here. So now what I'm going to do next is I am going to select this and I'm going to put 0, meaning there's not going to be space anywhere. So I'm going to come down here. and as you can see, it's touching both sides. So now what we give as 10 and 5 here, we're going to leave it as 10. Click on publish, refresh. As you can see, this is lovely. So we have exactly what we have in our design here. So I'm going to zoom this out, then I'm going to duplicate. So all I just need to do is duplicate. Since I've done one, I'll duplicate, and don't worry, it's going to look like this, but I'm just going to change the images. So I'll do one in your presence. So I'm going to do one in your presence, then I'm going to do the other remaining two off camera or off recording. So I'm going to select these two, copy, and I'm going to paste. So then I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete this. Then I'm going to duplicate this, then duplicate this. So now I'm going to autofill this. So I'm done, and as you can see, this is looking very cute. So all I just need to do next is I'm going to duplicate this, and no, let's not duplicate. It's still going to be duplicating is not bad, but an easier method, because Elementor dragging is an issue. So I'm just going to copy and paste, and because here has shop all, I'm just going to write here shop all, then reduce the font a little bit to 14. Right, then I'm going to click on save. Then we're going to check what our site looks like. Wonderful, and we have so I think this is in all caps, if I'm not mistaken. This is in all caps, so we're going to change it to all caps. So change it to all caps, we click here, go to style, then we're going to click on uppercase, then we click shop all and not shop. Okay, so yeah, I know you guys will be comments be like, okay, it is shop all, not shop app. So now we are done with this section, and we'll be moving into this section. Before we go, let's see if this is exactly what we have. Exactly what we have on the UI is exactly what we have, right? So let's get into the next section. So now for the next section, we are going to be designing this. Let me zoom out. So it's just going to be 1, 2. So what we need to do is we need this. Then here, before we add it, I think we need to give it top. So if you see it's reduced, so let's give bottom 20. Then yeah, so we can do that. Then we're going to give it a bottom margin of let's just say 80. You may not see it, but it's going to push whatever is here down. So we're going to add this to here. We're going to use this. As you can see, it pushed it down. So let me show you what I mean. So if I reduce this, you could see. So let me just take it back to 80. Okay, so now we're having this, and we're going to still do full width here. So having this full width, we have this section and we have this section. So how do we go about this? So let's start with this. We're going to copy my text, and I'm going to add a header to it. Then I'm going to add a body to it. Okay, so the next, I think this is a button. Let me look closely to it. So we can just use a text, right, to do that. So we can just copy this. I think this is a good one. Copy it, paste, then align it to the left. Then we are going to call this view product. Okay, the first thing that we notice is here is a different color, so we're going to apply that, and we're going to apply this. We're going to select the main color, then we're going to change all this to off-white. Okay, so once we are done, we'll click here to make sure there is no padding, right? And we would also let's try 80. Good. So this is exactly what I want. Let me just give it 100. I think 100 would do justice to it exactly. So This is actually nice. So we have this. Then we also have the image here. So we're going to also do the same thing to this. Then we're going to bring in an image. Okay, so we select the image, and as you can see, it takes the full width. So we're going to publish to see what has been done. So as you can see, there's a space in between, right? So you shouldn't panic. So we're going to click here, and we're going to come to layouts, and so it may look fine here. So but there is a little bit of a problem that we're not seeing. If you zoom in, you see that there is a space here. I'll show you why that is. So if I click here and I click this and I click on expand, you can see that the space is here. So we're going to try to expand this and see if that fixes it. So we're going to say full width and expand. Good. So as you can see, there is no spacing there again. So now then this, we're going to position everything to the center, right? So I click publish, and as you can see, everything is centralized just as we have it here. So the next thing is we are going to work on this next section. So to get this section done, it's going to be a little bit tricky in a way. So we have this floating here and this one floating to the right. So as usual, once we can do one, to do the rest is not going to be hard. So what we need to do is we need to create one normal box, right? Okay. So or let's do this. So we create two boxes, then we bring it like this. Okay, it's not gonna work. I was trying to do something. So let's go with this initial way. So now I'm going to do this, then I'm going to bring in a container, right? And I'm going to duplicate the container. So we have this. So now the reason why I'm doing this is, if you understand, this here right here is a container on its own, and this here right here is a container on its own. So once we can do this, then I'm going to create this, put 0. Same thing here. I'm going to come to advanced, sorry, not here, here, put 0. So before I continue, I'm going to also create a 40 bottom 80. Then the background, I'm going to set the background. So let's do the background right from day one. So let's do background from here. Then we're going to add the background to it. So as you can see, this is the background. Don't worry about it. We're going to start working. So inside here, I feel we're going to have to bring in two. So let me duplicate it. So you might feel that, okay, it is looking weird. Just work with me. So we have this. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to go to layout and position it here. So the reason why I'm doing 3 is duplicate. So whatever I'm building in this box, it will sit properly. So I think we can copy something that is existing. Let's look at this very well. So it's just the same thing here. Copy. Then we're going to paste. Come, let me delete that. I need to select the main this thing and not the container inside the container. Yes, this one, and paste. Okay, so this is it here. 25. This is 100, so we're going to make here 100. So it's going to take the shape of every other thing here. I don't know if you guys are with me. So this is the trick to it, so we don't have to design from scratch, right? Again, so what we're going to do is that we're going to arrange it in a way that is going to be easy for us. So I'm going to come down, I'm going to carry this here, and I'm going to drag it to the very top. No, drag it to the very top. Yes, this is it. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the background to white. So you just see that we did this in less than a few minutes. So we're going to change this to white. Then I think we need to add more padding. Let me put 20. So padding is the white space outside. Then we're going to change this to this chair. So I'll select the chair. This is beautiful. Then I'm going to copy the text with the pricing. Then I'm going to click on publish. So let's see what we've done so far. So this is lovely. This is almost exactly what we have, right? So looking at it, so we have a bigger space at the very top. Let's cancel this. We don't need this for now. So we have a bigger space at the top. So we would increase it. Let's just say 80. Let's just give it 100 feet. Let's just give it 100. Because I think there's a larger space at the top here. So we're going to do this. Then once we've done this, we are going to duplicate. We have to look very well. So bring the structure back. And so this is the 4. So this is it. And we're going to duplicate. Now once we duplicate, I'm going to delete this because we don't need it again because we already have the one we've done here. So if I click on this, I find where it is. I'm going to just bring it to the very bottom. So I don't like Elementor's drag and drop, but sometimes it works, sometimes it just gives headache. So I'm going to just select this and I'm going to replace with this, then copy the right text. Don't worry, I'm going to optimize it for mobile. I want to first of all build everything for web first. Then we're going to replace the text. Okay, so at the end of the day, when it's time to add link, we can easily add the links to the whole thing here. So then this is background, just in case we're going to convert it to not repeat. So this is what we have here, and if we come down here, we have this is beautiful. So now we will be working on the next section. So we're going to be building this section, and I know this one looks like one of the final boss section. So now in order to do that, we are going to, as usual, create 2 containers. So as you can see here, this is one container and this is a second container, but this look like it is sideways. So let's see what we can do about that. So now the second thing that we have to do is we need to bring in our text. So at least that would give us some sense of arrangement. Then bring in the other one. Then we are going to click here and we are going to change the background, because the earlier we start changing it, the better. So we're going to select our background. Good. So the text, we're going to change it to white. We are going to use our white here. So sorry about that. Then same thing here. We're going to use this other white. Good. So now looking at it, we would have to bring this to the middle. We would bring this to the middle. Then this is just the first one. Now we have to do the side, right? We have to do this side. So now in order to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to add a header. Let's just add it here. It's going to be at the top. Then we are going to give the header white as usual. Then we're going to reduce the side. So the thing, what we're trying to do is we're trying to rotate the what is it doing? So we're trying to rotate 14. Okay, let's just give it 18. So we're trying to rotate this. As you can see here, there's a rotation here and it's not like positioned like the rest are positioned. So what do we do? So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to click on the text layer. Then we're going to come to advanced. Then when we come to advanced, we are going to come down to layouts. And when we come down to layout, there's what we call position, and we're going to call it absolute. So absolute meaning we can position this any place in our site, given that we have the ability to place it anywhere in our site. So what do we do? So for this, I'll still leave it at this, that's horizontal. Then I'll give this -80. position it to this other side. Then once I'm done with that, I'll push it down, because if you check our design, it is at the bottom, right? Then we are going to come down here and we are going to give it 100. So now once we've given it 100, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to rotate it. And to rotate it, what are we going to do? We're going to come here and we are going to click this, click rotate. Let me see, minus 90. Let me see. Yep. So this is minus 90. So once we've given it minus 90, we need to change the text to look. Looking at it, we might not be seeing it because we have to refresh. So when we refresh and come down here, we can see our lookbook here. So now let's work on this a little bit so that our lookbook is going to be balanced a little. So here now we have to do something. So for the header text, we have to give some spacing at the top. So we're going to reduce this and we're going to give it 100. I think 100 is not too much. I'm going to check back on that. Then we are going to give the bottom at least 200. Then these two, there is a spacing on it, so we're going to give that 100 as well. Okay, so now we have this and we're going to now copy the real content so that we know what we are doing. So lookbook, and this lookbook h3 is around 50 something. So we're going to come here and we're going to paste this. Then we're going to increase the size to, let's say, 56. Isn't that too large? Let's say 48. Okay, so then we're going to copy this, then we're going to paste it here. Okay, so now we're going to publish, because I don't trust the height of this when it's published, so we have to see the true height here. Okay, good. So we're going to reduce this by a little, right? Let's just say 50. So we're going to give it 50 as the top. I'm going to give it 50, and let's see what that has done for us. Huge. This is more like it. So this is what we have here. So I know this is a little bit smaller. We're going to reduce the text, and there is enough spacing, like paddings on the both sides, like it was shrinked somehow. All right, so we're going to create that illusion. So this is already 14, so we're going to reduce it to 12, right? And reducing it to 12, we're going to shrink it a little bit on the left hand side. Let's see 50. What does 50 does for us? Yeah, I think this is fair enough. I think anything squeezing it more than this, it's gonna be okay. Okay, to me this is fair enough. This is fair enough, and we have this. To me, we have exactly what we are looking for. So we can, I think there's enough spacing at the bottom here, so we gave it 100 before, so let's just give it like 150. Yeah, to publish. I know I would have to always screw down anytime I refresh. So yes, we have something looking exactly like what we have. So now the next thing we're going to do is our lines in our design. So that's what we're going to do now. So in order to do those lines, what we're going to do is we are going to, first of all, make this I'm going to come here and we're going to turn off the paddings, meaning there is no paddings on the top and there's no paddings on the bottom, right? So we're going to publish. So now after making no paddings there, another thing again that we might be looking towards is we are going to, if you notice, this is more on the inside. If you check this, this is more like attached to the extreme end of the page. So we need to work towards that. So we're going to come back here and we're going to come to layout and we're going to do full width. So now when we do full width, you notice that that's lookbook has lost, right? So we don't have to panic. We're just going to come here and we are going to position the margin to the left of 50. So as you can see, it's back here. So if we come back here, it's here. So now don't panic. There are some few settings that we will still do. So once we have that, we would come down here and we are going to give both sides, because there's no spacing. If you notice, there is a spacing in as much as there's a spacing here, there's a spacing here as well. So we're going to give both items that spacing. So we're going to give it 2020 as spacing. So we're going to come back to this, like clicking here, and we're going to give here right 20 and left 20. Then we're going to refresh, publish, and as you can see, this looks good. It's already at the very edge as we want it to be. So now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to now work on the lines because we don't have the lines yet. So to work on this first line is not a problem. So we're just going to work on this and work on this. So in order to do that, what we are going to do is we're going to come to this. The line is not on this mother container, it's inside this sub. So and what we're going to do is we're going to go to styles, that's on this one, and we are going to go to border and we're going to add this solid. Then we are going to solid, then we're going to turn this one off, and we're going to, I think it's on the right and the left, just one. Then the color is obviously white. Then we are going to publish, and we have scrolled down a lot. So we have this here. So we have this here, and I think we are almost done with this. I feel like we should shrink this, right? So what we'll now be looking towards is creating this section. So now let's look into this. Let's just shrink this and just know that, okay, we fulfilled our righteousness. Okay, so we're going to reduce this to 100 and we're going to reduce this to 100. Now I think that's too much. Let's give it 80. 80. Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, on the design, it's fair. For me, I feel this is fair enough, right? Okay, let's just give it the 100 that we were initially gunning for. I think because of we shrinked it, that is why it was looking shrinked. So we shouldn't look. This is if you squeeze the page, if the page is this small, right? But for an average PC, this is what it's going to look like. So I think this is good for me, and on your own you can adjust it as you please. So here we're going to be building this section. So now to build this section, we have this here. So now to do that, first, what if, for example, now let me show you. If I take this container and I put the container here, you can see that the container has space in here. But if you check out design, there is no spacing, and we need to make sure there's no space in there. So you see what I mean in a minute. So if I take this, so if I bring this and I put in our text, no, this is not a header text. We need the body text, more of the body text. The body text, and I write what is supposed to be there, item, and make it white, then duplicate, then description, add my description. So doing this, I think we can reduce this a little bit to, I don't know if it's not going to be too small. Let's 12. Okay, yes, good. I'm going to reduce both to 12. Okay, good. So now we're going to select this and we are going to come down this container here, and we're going to click on no wrap. Then we're going to take them to be horizontal. Then we're going to make them space between. So perfect. So now as you can see, if we want to give a stroke, say for example, now I want to give a stroke to it, very end, right? So I select the mother container, not like the mother container. Okay, now I'm thinking I have to pull up structure here so that it's not going to be confusing. So if I come down to, okay, this is the mother container, and this is the one we're going to, that's the one that is going to give the stroke, right? So this is the one that's going to give a stroke. So we're going to come here and we're going to go to border and we're going to put it on solid, and I think the stroke is both up and down, not, sorry, on link, both top and bottom. So if we do top and bottom, you'll notice something. Let me put it in another place so that you see what I'm saying. Okay, I need to add color to it, top and bottom border, top and bottom, and we need to add color to it. So now once I've put the top and bottom here, you could see that it is not touching both edges. So let's see it in our website. So it's not touching any edge. In order for it to touch both edge, like this edge and this edge, so what we're going to do is we are going to click here. That's the mother container, and we are going to release this. So as you can see, both edges have been touched, right? So another thing again we need to do is, if you check the design, right, there is no edge. So the 2020 that we gave this side, we're going to remove it, right? So that's going to be floating, and we're going to give it a spacing at the top. So what we're going to do is, we're still not going to leave here yet. We're just going to give here, like, let's check for 20 and see what 20 does for us. Perfect. Then the next thing that we're going to do is, for this, that's, we're going to come to this mother container, and the left we're going to put, sorry, that's a mistake, that's on the right, we're going to put, yeah, and it has floats to the end. So we're going to refresh, and we're going to check this. As you can see, we got this, we got this, we got this. So now we're going to build the inner one. So let's close this down, and we are going to work on the inside. So to work on the inside, we are just going to, so what we're going to do is, we're going to duplicate this. That's this one we've done. We're going to duplicate it. I think, how many of these do we need? Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4 of it. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to duplicate 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've done the first one. Now we're going to delete this. We're going to delete this. So now this, and let's just remove this no wrap first, just in case there is anything that we need to do. Then I think preferably I am going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this, then I'm going to paste it, because rather we would have to rebuild this again. So instead of doing that, we're going to just paste. As you can see, going back to our design, we already have it, so we don't have to do all that again from scratch. So what we need to do is, we need to export this image, right? So we're going to export this image. So I'm going to change this image by clicking here, select this, then I'm going to click on upload, then I'm going to select the image. So if you have this error, right, all you just have to do is click on publish first, then relaunch your Elementor. So I think it's a good thing that it showed up, so that we can have that lesson to learn. So once our page has loaded, we can come down here and try again. So as you can see, it loaded. So we have this now in this place, and we're going to look at this. Then there is this spacing right at the bottom. So but let's copy this and shop all. Then we're going to change this text to, and I'm going to do this on other stuff, right? So this is using our body text. Rather I'm going to replace it, right? So instead of us going through that headache, so I'm just going to delete this, and I'm going to type in lookbook, then copy this, delete this as well, duplicate as usual. So this one will face this end, and this will face this end, just in case, because you never can tell when this thing would start doing cooking. So we have these two. Then I think we need to reduce the size, but let's publish first to see. Okay, so I'm going to reduce it to 12. So then here, remember, there is an overlap in terms of spacing. So at the bottom, there is more spacing here, right? So then on our design, there is this background. So this background is not in our color guide, so it's a background that was used once. So now, as we've had that, The next thing again is, if you notice, there is this spacing inside it. So what we're going to do is this the container housing it, we're going to select it and we are going to increase it. As you can see, it has given that illusion, right? So I know you guys may be worried what we are going to be doing with this one. So yeah, so we're going to match it to this style, right? We're going to match it to this spacing. So now the next thing is just to replicate, work on this, and we are done. So now what we're just going to do is just to copy and paste. I'm just going to do this without um in the background as I'm editing, so I'm not going to disturb you guys. So give me a few seconds. So as you can see, I am done duplicating it. Then there's something, if you notice, there is no space in between after material. So there are some spaces here. So one way to try to go about that is the mother container, right? If we do this, let's see if it's going to solve it. If we put on 0, right, it solves it. But if you notice, in a way, one line is higher than the other line. So do you know why? Because the bottom line is thicker. So what we're going to do is, each of these, we're only going to do the top and not the bottom. So as you can see, oh, don't worry, let me do it. You would see it and see what I'm talking about. So what I did was, I've removed the bottom of everything. So the only one I didn't remove the bottom padding, that's the padding between the bottom of this, is this last one. So the reason why is, if you check here, there is the last line here. So I'm going to give this, only this, I'm going to give it 20 at the bottom, right? Instead of giving this 20, I notice that I may make a very big mistake. So I'm going to go to the mother container. We give the mother container 20 at the top, so we're going to give the mother container 20 at the bottom. So that should do it. Yep, that did it. So now the mother container has 20 at the top, 20 at the bottom, meaning 20 at the top here, 20 at the bottom, and we have this. And if we go to our design, right, we have the same thing. So now we're going to give this big space for us to have this. So we're going to increase this. So we gave it 290, and if you check, let's see what we have here. 290. This is not bad at all, right? This is not really bad. So we have this, and we have all the design that we need. So as you can see, we have everything that we need inside of this. So the next thing that we are going to be doing is, we're going to be working on this section. Okay, so the next chapter we are going to be working on is this. So this may not be too difficult because we've done something like this. So all we just need to do is go back to this section. Yes, then we are going to, before we go back to it, we need to increase this a little bit. I think we reduced it before, and I think we can push it up to 28. So 28 looks a little bit much better, right? So now all we just need to do is, we're going to copy. I don't want to duplicate, because duplicate I have to drag down and it's going to be messy. So I'm going to paste this here. Then if you look at this, we have this section, which is almost the same thing as our body as well. That's this. So we're going to copy as well, and we are going to paste. So now I think majority of what we're going to be doing now is just changing colors and the product image. By default, WordPress is supposed to be feeding from this, but what we are going to do is, we are going to design this and connect it to a product. So what this means is, you'll be having 100% control of the design of what your shop page would look like, right? But by default, Elementor designs are not like this, trust me. Once I put the product short code, you will see what it looks like, and it's not what you are seeing here, right? So this gives us much control. So at the end of the day, I'm going to show you how to apply a link, so that once you put the link, you would be able to click on the product. So now the next thing we're going to do is, we're going to change this background to suit this here. So to change this background, we're going to select this. This shouldn't be difficult. Then we are going to add this. Then the text, we're going to come here, and we are going to change this to white. So then there is a border, right? So for the border, we are going to go back to the border. There's already a border here. Then we're going to change the border to white. So same thing we are going to do here a little bit. So we're going to change this here. So we're going to change this good, and we are going to change the text, right? So this text, we're going to change this text. So I'm going to do for one, I'm going to change the image, I'm going to change the product for one, then behind the scene I'm going to change everything, right? So it's going to be very easy for us. So first, let me just do this. No, just the color that we're going to do. We're going to come here and we are going to click on this. Then one key thing that we need to do that we kind of made mistake earlier on is this is a text, it's a paragraph text, right? So I'm going to do this. I want to see what this would give us if I, position it. So what I mean by position is when I publish it. Okay, good. So the thing here is the header text is the go-to text, right? But when we did it, we use H2, right? So just in case we need a URL, that is one of the main reasons we did it. So I'm going to come here and we are going to change the color to as well to this. Then what we are going to do next is we are going to delete this. It may sound crazy, but yes, so that we don't stress ourselves doing almost the same thing from scratch again. So I'm going to do this and I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to duplicate as well. So now once I duplicate that, I'm going to duplicate this as well. So as you can see, we have this, meaning all I just need to do, I've created a template of what we call placeholders, and we are going to upload the product and replace what needs to be inside. So as you can see, it's looking very much like what we have. So it's for me to just go on the background. Let me just do this one, and I will just go on the background to bring in the rest. Okay, so this is what's supposed to be here, right? And we are going to have this, then the body we're going to just edit it. So I know the text here is actually very small, but for e-commerce, because of simplicity or readability, I'm going to leave it at the way it is because it is very important. You can see here it's going to be 12 to 14, right? But I'm going to leave it at 14 because when someone is browsing on your website, they need to see the price clearly because yeah, sometimes aesthetics shouldn't affect some certain things. So we're going to leave that the size as it is, right? So but if you want to reduce it, you have the free will to do that. Okay, so we have done this here. So behind the scene, I'm going to do the. So at the end of the day, I had to reduce it to 12. Yeah, I know. So 12 made it look a little bit aesthetically pleasing in the eye. I wouldn't lie. So well, and it made it look like okay, I can actually see the pricing. It's not that big. You get. So once we are done with this, right, the next thing that we need to do is we need to create this other section, which is this, and it's not that difficult because we already have something like that. So we are just going to come down here and copy. So once we copy, we are going to click here and paste. So all we just have to do is change the background as usual. Then we're going to change the border as well. Then we're going to change the text color to white. So we have that. And also the text here is supposed to be um, text editor, right? We are supposed to have it as default. So yes. So even this, so I'm going to do some cleanup because of the UI. When we had having that font issue, we had some called text misappropriation or correction. So we have this right in our design. I think we have this extra thing here. So I think that is more like a padding, a bottom pad. So we're going to create an empty box, and this empty box will just have a spacer. Then we are just going to add a background to it. This gives an illusion of space there. Okay, so give that breathing space as we have in the UI. So now the next thing we have to do is we are going to be building this section. So to build this section, we're going to copy this because we can't really be building things like that from scratch again, of time, and as a designer, time is everything. So we're going to do this. So we're going to delete this here, and we are going to here this width, we are going to bring it like this, as you can see. Then the next thing that we are going to do, we're going to have this. So we have one before this. So don't worry, I'm going to do everything, and color is not going to be the issue. We're going to do color last. Do color last. So I'm going to edit this, then reduce the spacing there at the bottom. Then I'm going to copy this text first. I'm going to paste. So remember, there are two other texts here. So I'm going to bring in this body text immediately after this, and we're going to copy that text. We're going to position it to the middle. So before I start changing any color, let's do the normal color change. So I'm going to take this back to white. Then the heading text, I'm going to change it back to strong text, and these two, I'm going to do the same to it. So I did that in the link. It's supposed to be here, strong text. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're also going to change the text here, and we're going to call these details because it's details that is written here. Okay, no, let's do this section first. Okay, I see. This section we are going to, let's duplicate before we do any funny thing. Let's duplicate. So I like what I have here. So the reason why I'm duplicating is we have this section is different from this section. So now let's finish doing this, and we are going to do this. So now doing this, we are going to delete this, right? Then it has its padding. So let's get the color that we used for the sides. I think we used it here. Yes. So we're going to get the border color, and we're going to use it for the border here. So the border, I don't think we need the border on the, let's just put the color so we know where that thing is showing up on. So we know that there's one on the left and there's one on the right. I think we just done the one off on the right. So I'll publish it to see what it is. Okay, good. So we have the one that we need here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this. So in order to shrink it, what we're going to do is we are going to reduce this. So I'm going to go heavy on it. So I'm going to go 200. I don't think that 200 is enough. So let me just give it 400. 400. Because if it's too small here, I can only imagine what it would look like here. Good, exactly what I want. So I know here in the design it is small, right? So but preferably this is much better. Okay, so now what we have in the design is we have a much larger space at the top and at the bottom. So we're going to give this some spacing at the top. At the top we would give it 100. No, not you, this here. Then I didn't select it. So at the top we'll make it 100. So we're going to refresh to check what that is. Okay, so I think this is good. Then we're going to reduce this bottom here. So reducing it to 50, let's see what it is. Good. I think I like this space. And so now the next thing that we need to work on is this section. So now to work on this section, that's this section here, what we need to do is we need to, let me check if this is just image. We just need one big image here, one image here, one image here. Okay, we can do this, but let's export the images. I'll do this in the background. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create our border. So we need to take the border color from here. So we already have a border here, and we are going to add the border at the top as well. So we copy this, then we're going to come here to the border, and we are going to come to style, come to border. Then remember we have it on the left, and now we are going to have it at the, so having that, okay, we're going to use this. This is going to be the one that will have the border because the border cut across this section. So we're going to just have it here as on the left, that's on this left here. And the one at the top, we're going to come here. So you see it is already here. Then the one at the top, we're going to come to border and solid, sorry, at the top here. Then we're going to give it a border. So now giving it a border, we're going to click on save or publish. Then once we are done with that, we can actually see what we've done. Good. So we have what we need here. Then what we need again is to change this to details. So we're going to copy this details and we're just going to change this to details. Good. So now this here, we're going to delete it. We're going to delete and we're going to delete. Or before we delete the final one, because I think it's already entering that space, let's put an image inside. Good. So now an image is inside. Then also, instead of giving it 100, let's give it 70. So now the reason why I give it 70 is because of there is going to be a new tab by the rest. So I'm going to put a new container, right? And this new container, I'm going to give it 30. So meaning we gave here 70, give here 30. Get the gist. So the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to bring in the images. So this is the first image. Remember, we're going to delete this. We don't need this again. This is the first image. Then here we have two images, image 1 and image 2. So what we just need to do here is to bring it down. No, okay, that image entered the wrong place here. Good. So now that's the two images that we have. So the first image is this image here, and the second image is the image we have. So we're going to publish to see what we've done. Okay, so as you can see, we have our images here, right? So this is everything that we have, and you can see them here. So if you notice, there's this big white space here, so we need to adjust that. So in order to do that, let's give these images their full potential. So in order to do that, if you select the image, you go to style and you increase the width, max width. So we do the same thing to this, do the same thing to this. So we click on publish. If we come down here, you can see that at least it's looking very okay. So now we are going to be working on the next section, which is going to be this section. So now to do this section is going to be a full width. So we're going to create a box here, and okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to come here and we're going to add an image. We're going to bring in the images to the background. The first image is going to be the background image, and the other image is going to be this. So the background image is going to come in here, and remember this is going to be a full width. Let's just give it boxed first because the width is already expanding to full width. Then we're going to come to our elements and we're going to add image. So now the image we're going to add is going to be this image. So, and the image has a decent spacing at the top. So we have padding at the top. Let's just say 50. Good. And we have at the bottom 50. So if there's any repeating, to avoid any repeating images, what we need to do is we're going to come down here, come to size and cover, right? So we have that smooth. So now we're going to come down here to see what we've done so far. This is perfect. This is almost exactly what we have in our UI. So now the next section that we're going to be working on would be this section. We're going to be building this section. So all we need to do is just copy this because we already have something like that. So this is smart building. Then we're going to paste it here. Then next we are going to change the text. So paste. Okay, so I think that is that for that. Then we are going to be working on this section. So what we just need to do is copy something that is already existing. So should we copy this, or no, this is going to give us much hassle. So we are just going to copy this and we are going to paste. Okay, so we're going to publish. So also we see what we are doing. Okay, so as you can see, this line looks like it's double, right? We're going to amend that. And we know that we have text here and we have image here. So we have two of this. So before that, let's adjust that. So we click on here and we're going to add the border. We're going to remove it. Just totally just remove it. None. So we don't have border at the top. So now here, we're going to bring it back to 50, and here we are going to also bring it back to 50, so at least giving it a 50-50 chance. But let me see what we used here. I doubt if here was given any oh, it was actually 50. Okay, so we gave it 50. So we're going to delete this. We don't need them. Deleting the right place. Okay, yeah, so we're going to delete this. Okay, before I delete this, I want to add the text story so that it will not be difficult for us to add. So I'm going to add the header text. So then we add the body text. So we're going to now delete this. We don't need it again. So in adding those details, we're going to come here and feel this text is somewhat, yeah, this is bigger than any other text. So we're going to paste this and we're going to increase the text size. So let's give it like 56 because in our design H3 is under 56, 64. Yeah, I think that is, let's give it 64. Since it's big 50. Okay, 50 is fair enough. And for this, the body, I'm going to pick the body and going to add this. Then we're going to add another extra that's duplicates. So this is going to be more like a button. So we're just going to come here and copy this, and it's more like, so I'm going to show you how to add links to this. So to add links, let me reduce it first, because you might be wondering, okay, this is not a button, but how do we add links to it? I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So I'm going to put 12 here, then I'm going to cycle this, then that's align, not cycle, then align it and give it this link here, right? So I'm going to give it link. Let me just put hash, right? So as I've put the hash here, I can put whatever link I want to put. But if you notice, it goes dark. So how do you configure this? So what you need to do is you just come here and say I want it to be dark. That's by default, right? Then the link to is going to be dark as well. So on hover, like when you hover around it, you can say, okay, it should reduce to something like this, or let's give it something a little bit lighter. So you get the whole logic. So now that's how to make a text, a link. So yeah. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to add this. So we're going to copy this. Then we're going to apply this. Then we're going to publish. So I know most of us are saying this. I'm like, oh, our guy is extending to the extra. So what we just need to do is just add a little bit of offset. So we just add 116, and I think it should be all right. So we're going to check our design. Yep, and it is back to normal. So we are done with this section. So I'm going to check very well. So on our design, yeah, there's some padding here, and we're going to add our image and just do that. So in our design, this is what it looks like. So there is no much spacing at the top, no spacing at the down. So I'm now seeing this. So I think what happened today is we giving it 60, 56 was actually the good call. So the reason why I'm saying is a good call is when this loads, you would see that it's going to break to the other side, as you can see. So what we need to do again is we have to, give a spacing at the top and something at the bottom, then something also at the side. So from here, we have, we need the padding, we need a good padding at the top, right? So we can give the top like, let's give it 100 first, if it's not too much. Then the bottom, we are going to give it 50. And once we do that, the sides, we're going to just give it 20. 20. I think this is fair enough. Okay, now this is what we've done so far. I think this is very fair. So now this other side, we are going to add the image to it. So we're going to add the image. And again, we are going to centralize this. But before I centralize, let me bring in the image. Okay, good. So I'm going to publish to see what I have first. Even before I publish, I can actually preview what I have like this. And okay, there was no need for us to do anything. So we just leave it the way it is. So yeah. Okay, so this is this particular section we just created. Then we're just going to create this button here. So same thing we have with this. The good thing is that we don't have to recreate some element. That's one thing we design. It's not every time you create everything. We're going to paste here and we are going to call it see or article. Then we're going to publish. So remember, this is a button. So we are going to change this to the default text. So having this, we are going to check what next. So now this is what we are going to build next. So in building this, we have 1, 2, 3. So let's get to it. So we're going to create 3 flexbox, accurate flexbox. Okay, let's just do it this, then we just add another one, duplicate. So we have 3 flexbox. Then I think there's something here we need to confirm. Yes, there is something there. Yes, I just confirmed it. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to bring in the images. So once we do one, it's going to be easy for us to do the rest. So that's one formula I use to ease my mind. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to bring in a text. Then we've done a button, right? So this button, we might use it frequently. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste here, right? So before I will have to publish to see what I'm doing, so I know, what's right and what's not right. Okay, good. So there is a good distance between this. I'm going to also reduce this text based on what we have here. So, and this is using H5, and H5 is 24. So I'm going to be using 24 for this. So we are going to, normally we are supposed to be switching between H4, H5 here, right? So when we are building our this thing, so but because of from the design it varies, so I don't want to take your time on that. So for this we are going to use 24. Then we're going to copy the text on it, and we are going to copy the text on this. I think this is using 12 if I'm not mistaken, because that is very small. That is very small. So I'm going to use 12 for that. Then the article, we're just going to get read article is read article. That is in our design. So read article. So now we're going to replace this image here. So we select it. So now publish to see what we've done. Okay, so this is not bad, but I feel the space between this and this could be closed up a little bit. I know this has an issue. So in order for us to do that, we just click on this and we go to margin, and the top margin we can reduce it to 18. So 18 should be okay, because for some weird reasons, I don't know why Elementor. I'm going to look for a solution to that. Elementor usually give a space between stuffs. So we have this and we're going to duplicate this. Yes, I have not forgotten. This is going to be somewhat of a full width, and full width to cover the page, and there's stroke in between. So let's do that. So now we're going to make it full width, and we are going to give this a stroke at the edge. So we're going to click on this and come to border, and we are going to um, solid. I usually call it stroke. Let's give it on the right, and one. So we have that. Then I am going to delete. Okay, now before I duplicate, I use the wrong color. Let me use the right color. So here I'm going to pick the color that I made use of for this. So I'm going to select this back, then go to border, select the color. So I'm going to duplicate, then I'm going to duplicate. So here it doesn't need a border because of it's the last one on the edge, so it does not need a border. I'm going to come here and remove it 0. So before I change the images, let's see what we have. Good. So if there's one thing we need to fix, is this is not touching the very edge. I know why, and we're going to fix it. So we are going to work on that. So now we are at the very top. So these boxes, we are going to release it. We're going to release them, each and every one of them. So we're going to release them. Don't worry, don't panic. So now, once we've done that, also for this, we're going to do that as well. So once we've done that for it, we are going to add a padding for this. Let's start with this. We're going to add padding to the left and right side. So we're going to add a 20 padding. If that's not too much, then inside we remove it. So before I remove it, I want to confirm something first. So yes, I've confirmed what I want to confirm. It is touching the very top. So now we go back to this, then we remove it again. So we go back to this and we remove it. So we're going to click on publish, and we have this. So all we just need to do is change the image. I'll be doing this behind the scene. Okay, so I'm done with it, and I'm going to publish, which I've done. I'm going to check them again for the very last time, and I think everything here is good. So if you hover around this, you can get your button and links to wherever you want them to link to. So this is what we have, and we'll be working on the next page, which is the last but not the least. This is the last page for us. Is not like a full width, meaning this image is not spanning across here. So this image is in the middle. So we need to create a how do I call it, a mother container that can house other containers inside, right? So this is what I mean. So we have the mother container, right? Then if I add a container inside, so now this is going to be a mother container. Let me go to structure so you see what I'm saying. Now we have the mother container. we have a container inside here, right? So now this container now can house either one or many. So what we're going to do now is I think this is the first um case where we have to manipulate containers in a way, like way more than we should. So then we are going to make them align, meaning we are going to make them horizontal, so in the middle. So now making them horizontal, I'm going to just give this 30. Sorry, where did I put apply that 30? Sorry, not there, not the height. Sorry, not the height. 30. And no, let's give 50. 50. Yeah. Okay, so now given that, we are going to come here and we're going to add our text. So you would see why I did what I did. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on I'm going to click on, let's give this 100. Let's both top and bottom would have like 100 or 80 80. So 80 80 is fair. 80 bottom, 80. So now after doing this, we are going to increase the text to, let's check our design to see, that's h2 and our h2 is so let's just give it 56. It doesn't have to be that big. um this is 56. Then we are going to bring it in the middle. Then we're going to add our text. Okay, so then the next thing that we're going to do, there's a high tendency I mean I will have to reduce this too. So but let's finish first. So now once we have gotten this, the next thing is for us to bring in our background. So this is our background and we're going to attach it. So we're going to click on here and click on image and we're going to upload it. So putting it here, we as you can see, we already have it here. So we're going to change the color to white. We already have white there, and I feel I can still give this a little bit of a background overlay so the whites can pop up. So I'm going to choose normal strong text black. Yeah, so I think that is fair. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. So we are going to there are two ways to go about this. We can easily add this. So we can come here and say, okay, let's add top 100. I don't think 100 is going to cut it. Let's go 250. Okay, 250 is good, but I think it's too much. Let's go 200, then the bottom 200. Okay, so I feel like the color that we chose here is not it. If we want to go, we just go with black. I feel if we want to go with black, let's go with black here. Then we're going to reduce it a little bit so it's not going to be too dark. Yeah, I think that's a soft spot. Then for here, I know we've already done something here, but let's remove it. I feel this would bring the text to get, okay, yes, that is over. So um I think 60 should do. I thought 100 would be okay, but I think 100 is too much. If 100 is not, let me try 70. So yeah, sometimes I don't preview these things, so we test on the go. Yeah, so this is okay. So now we've gotten this. The next thing that you would probably have noticed in the design is that there is an email button down there. So as you can see, we have this, and as you can see, we have this. So this is somewhat going to the edge, very 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 close to this. So we are going to use full width. Let me tap on it again. So we're going to use full width, and on the side of the full width I'm going to use 30 30 30. So we're going to publish to see it. So there's difference between what we would have here and what we'll have at the end of the day. So we're going to come down here and you could see that this is totally different. So This is what we have, and the remaining stuff that we're going to have here is going to be a button. But for that button, we would need to have to install one more extra plugin for that. So we are going to add Fluent Form. So Fluent Form is a form I usually use a pair with Elementor. That's if you're not using Elementor Pro. But if you're using Elementor Pro, there is no need to download Fluent Form. Just use Elementor Pro directly. So on installing, Fluent Form is here. So we're going to click on Fluent Form. And sometimes Fluent Form comes with some buttons which you can preview. So if I click here to preview this button, you can see that it has a subscribe button here. So we're just going to copy this. Then we're going to come to our design here. And we're going to look for what we call short code. And we're going to apply it. Then we're going to copy the short code and paste it here. So once we apply it, you have it here. So all we have to do is change the color. So we're just going to change the color, right? Then we're going to select. So the background color is blue, but we're going to change it to our own color. So this is our own color. So we paste, same thing, copy, put hash at the front, then paste, then we have the white. Then the hover state is we have this as this, you save, then the border too, you save. Then we click on save form. So now once we save the form, we are going to come back to our design and apply it. So once it's done applying, we are going to come down to the very bottom and it's going to load. Sorry, it's taking us back up to the very beginning. So it's going to load, and as you can see, we have it here. So if you click, I think we've already published. So we're going to refresh. So and when we refresh, we have our button here. So this is more realistic than what we have here, because this is more like a design. This is more like a real this thing. So this could be from a third-party platform. This button could be from anywhere. So but this is what we are going to use for this design. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to be looking at this one after the other to check if we have any mistakes. So but before we go to that, we have to make sure, if you notice, this is eating up somewhere. So we're going to come here and we're going to come to display and we're going to put cover. And as you can see, it takes everything. Then we're going to publish as usual, then view what we have done so far. So we're going to look at everything from the beginning to check if we made any mistake, and from there we're going to optimize. So we're going to be checking the UI one after the other to make sure we did not miss anything on the body, right? So, and if there's any interaction we need to do, we put them. So we already made an interaction here. I don't think we made any mistake here. Then, as for this place, I feel we can do something. So, for example, here where we have this, I feel we can make this. So let's say we call this 4. I don't know if that's going to work for it. So index 4, meaning, okay, let's put it index 3. Let me see. I'm going to then, as for this, so what the index mean is the stacking order, right? So, oh well. So I'm selecting this 2 to be index 4. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we just leave it alone. So what I try to do is making it come above the other ones that were already existing. So it's full. I think it's following the body of this. So it's following the mother container. So I don't think that would work on it. So by the end of the day, we made this one. The goal was actually to just make this increase. So let's leave that as it be. So here I don't think we need any other adjustments. Okay, for this, I think the only adjustment that we need is this, changing them to, so I'm just going to do this behind the scene. Okay, so we've modified this, and I promised I'm going to show you how to add links to this. So to add links to this, all you just have to do is come to additional settings, then from HTML tag you turn it to a link. So any link, you just put it hash, so meaning if there was a product here, I am going to add a product to this particular page. So we can also add interactions, right? So if I come here and I said, okay, I want to let me see if we can do that. Background hover. Okay, there's no hover interaction, so let me see if we can have motion entrance transformation. On hover we shrink it. Okay, so I was able to do it to 1.05. So if you hover around it, it's going to be 1.05. So let me see if I copy this and paste it. So don't change any other elements, but paste style. Please don't change any other elements inside. Nines. So we have this, so meaning we can have an interactive so paste style, right click and paste style. So we made it interactive, and don't forget you can also add a link when you need to, here to add a link here, so it's already there. So you can do the rest for this, you know how to go about that, and do the rest for this. So I don't think we made any mistake here, apart from, so okay, here too, I think the only thing we need to do is to create this, put this here. I think this was the only thing that we did. So, and you guys on your own can make any adjustments that you feel like you want to make adjustment to. That is going to be solely left to you. So doing this, we are kind of done with almost everything. Yay. Okay, so now I think the last thing that we need to do now is to make sure it is mobile and tablet responsive. So the next thing we need to do is optimize this for mobile responsiveness. So for desktop, I don't think, let's start with the home page, right? So for desktop, I don't think we have an issue here. Then for mobile, we are going to be using this to ascertain what we want to do. So looking at this is how the website looks like. So I think here for mobile, it's very much okay to me. I don't know why it keeps going here. So we're going to just select this. So now for mobile, this looks fine, right? This looks fine to me. But if you otherwise choose to make it different, no problem. So then coming down to this section, I know this section has lots of design and some other things. So how this section looks like on isn't that bad. So we're going to reduce this a little bit. So we're going to reduce this size to probably 40, right? So we're going to reduce this to 40. Then as for the mobile, I think this is fair. This looks fair. This looks fair. Just more like a kind of a mosaic. How do I put it? Right. But I think yes, and we can click the button. That's the most important thing. So it's just more like a design per se. So I feel this is okay for the mobile, right? Because on the norms, I would say we should just remove one of these, right? So or let's say we leave this like this. To me, I feel it's fine. But if you feel like you want to remove anything, you can actually remove this last one. I feel this last one didn't really make an impact like that. So let me take it back. Let's select, so it's going to be easy to select. So this last one, let's say we remove this last one. Let's remove this last one. Then on mobile, if I switch to mobile and I go to advanced layout responsiveness, I can say hide on mobile. So now when I say hide on mobile, I'll click on it and we're going to see what. So once it's loaded, we can see that there is a difference between here and here. So we have this. So it's just more like a design for our site. So the next thing is going to be this section, right? So this section, we are going to make sure that there is a padding at the top. But before we do that, let's see what's okay. There's enough spacing between here and here. But for mobile, we need to have a padding at the very top here. So what do you guys think? I like as the button is on top of this, just a design aesthetics. So for this, for mobile, we are going to add something at the top. Let's say 20. No, let's not use padding. No, we're not supposed to use padding. We have to use margin. So at the top we have 20. I don't want to destroy what we have inside. So let's see if that works for us. Good. So we have this. So for mobile, I'm seeing this weird. There's a spacing issues here. We're going to look into it and see if we can rectify that. So I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to check this. So for this section here, okay, so I figured out where the problem is. So if you look at this, right, at this here, you could notice that we don't have a unified, how do I put it? We don't have a unified gap, right? So if I switch it to, so if I switch it back to web, so what I'm going to do is for role for mobile, I'm going to give a 40, right? Because I know that we need a good distance between these guys here. Then if I come down here to mobile, yes, you can see that this distance is very good. So now another thing again we need to do is these guys are hanging, right? So there should be a reason for that. So I think let me do one, then if I figure that out, I think we can, I think there is something here. Let me do that. No, we need spacing at the top. Let me give 20. We are going to do this at the, let me delete this. We're going to do this at the mobile level, right? Since that's where we have the issue. So switch to mobile, and it may look fine here, but on our website, it's not looking fine. So we're going to do this on mobile, and we are going to put 20 at the top. So putting 20 at the top, we're going to refresh to see if this one works. Okay, putting 20 at the top kind of made it this way. So another thing again we need to check is inside the column, right? Do we have any form of gap spacing? Because that is another thing we need to look into again. So if we come here and we, oh, okay, I see where the problem is coming from. So I'm going to go back here and undo this first on the mobile. So I'm going to undo this first on the mobile, right? Because by default, we've already done that. So then I would come here because I think the mother container doesn't have an efficient spacing for mobile. So we're going to switch to mobile, right? Because that's where the problem is coming from. And we're going to put the normal 20 for the role. Let's just give it 40 first. Let's see how happens. So you see that there is enough spacing there. So let's see if we're going to get that spacing that we want. So it's going to be here. Let it refresh. Not bad, not bad, not bad, but I feel it could do better, right? So we're going to increase it to 60. Okay, so once we do this, we're going to do this for the rest. So we're going to come here and we're going to tap on this, remove this and give it 60. Then do the same thing for here. Remove this and we're going to give it 60. Then the last one, we do the same thing. So when we refresh, we have an even positioning and everything looks as it should be. So the next section we're going to be working on is going to be this section. So for this section, I just think what we just need to do is just the padding that was set here. So the padding for this was let's see, the padding that was set was 100. So let's try 60. Let me try 50 first before we go down to. So at least let's half it and let's see if it's going to be much better. Yeah, I think this is much better. So I think we are done with this. So I think these two has the same issue, right? So we are going to also apply that thing to it. So meaning the where we have the text is also not positioned very well. So we're going to go to the desktop, right? Then we are going to check for the mobile to see if this is responsive on the tablets. So for the tablets, let's say we expand this first. So we are very sure of what is wrong with the tablet. Okay, good. So for the tablet, we can reduce the size of this. I think size reduction should go a long way for the tablet. So if we reduce this size to 12, which is supposed to be, so we go back to tablet and as you can see, everything looks cool. Then for mobile, we just have that issue with spacing. So before we go to mobile, we're going to what we are going to do is we're going to come here and we are going to click on we're going to click here and we're going to click on this. Then first let's clear this first. Let's give it the normal 20, right? So giving it the normal 20, it has the normal spacing that it's supposed to carry. And if we come down to settings, there is an amount of space it's supposed to have. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply the 40 that we applied to this here. So let's apply the 40 here. Let's untangle this, then write 40. So okay, I think 100 is what is going to work for this. So 100 then what's going to work for this. So we do the same thing to this other one here too as well. We are going to put 20, untangle it and put 100. So I'm going to come down and this is it here. So we have this. Then we are going to come to where we now start having the logbook mystery guy. So we are going to come down here. So now this particular guy is not supposed to show on mobiles. So let's see how it looks like on tablets. So for tablets, I don't think anything is that bad. I will just reduce. I know I'll definitely reduce this. So for tablets, no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this. Then when we come down to responsiveness, we're going to hide it on mobile. But before we leave here, let's see what it looks like. So as you can see, it's missing here. So I still like this line, right? I'm still going to see if I can leave the line there. If I can't leave the line, I'm going to source because I'm seeing here that we have this issue on the left hand side here. So we're going to fix everything. So but before then, I noticed that this did not align. I would have checked it before moving to the next because I felt like as this has been done, it's going to be okay there. So what we're going to do is we're still going to come back here and we are going to go to mobile. So as we can see, it's almost there, or it's not there yet. So we're going to give 200 first because I want to see how far it's going to go. So for some weird reason, I don't know why Elementor is giving that much spacing to it in order for it to show properly here. Okay, so 100 does it well, but 200 does it, but we are going to reduce it to 150. 160 was what worked for it, so we're going to go down here to this guy as well, and we're just going to put 6 here. You can see both are actually now looking as they should. So now we're actually in this place. Then, as I was saying, we can click here, and as you can see, we're having the right side 100 and the, so I think we can reduce this to, let's say, 20. Let's see, because doing that we might have altered some things, because I know that we had a very good height for that particular page. So let's see if the height has changed in any way. Okay, good, the height hasn't changed. This is perfect. This is perfect. I kind of like this design. I want to leave this alone, but I know it's kind of wrong. So because if we check this here, right, if we come here, there is 20 on the right hand side, meaning on the left hand side, meaning there is space here. So what we just do is we're going to just do here 0, meaning there is not going to be space on any part of it. And as you can see, everything is smooth. I just love this. So same thing goes to this page. The same issue that we had in this page here, we're also going to do that. So coming down here, all we just have to do is not going to be that difficult. We are just going to hit this, and on this place we are going to give it 40. So let's publish to see if that has done anything. We didn't do it at the top here, so now let's do it at the top here. We did it for the second side, so let's do it at this side as well. So we're going to do this, then we're going to do 40, and we're going to save. So as you can see, we have each and every one of the spacings now effectively added. So now one thing that is missing is the price, so we now have, so the price is here, but we have to do that spacing that we did. So let's rectify it. So here we used 60 for it. So we're going to come here, and I'm going to just apply it on one, right? Then once I apply it on one, once we check that it's correct, you are going to now apply it on the rest by yourself behind the scene. So I'm going to apply it on the rest behind the scene. Good. So it worked for this. So we're now going to apply it. So after I was done with it, I now checked them, and as you can see, they are very, very okay. So now we are almost done with our site. So this is a very, very long, Jesus, that's a very, very long space. What's supposed to be here? Okay, so for one, we are going to remove this, right? Or we should leave it, but I think I need to figure out why this space. I think I like the way this looks like. It's kind of nice, so I'm going to leave this particular page the way it is, but I'm going to figure out why this particular page is this long. So let's get into it. Oh, okay. So I now know why. So we only did left and right. We don't even need to even do much. So but so let's publish first. Let's see what it is. We have this here. So going back to this, I feel like we should turn this back on, right? Let's see if we turn it back on, because you know we had to clear the spacing due to the other things that were at the bottom. So if we go back here and turn it on, let's see if it wouldn't be a problem to us. So if we come down here and turn it off, let's see if it's going to be a problem. We'll turn it off. It's not going to be a problem. We'll leave it alone. Okay, from what I'm seeing, it's going to be a semi problem, right? Because of the pushing. And if I said I should adjust it, let's see if we can not transform layouts for mobile. No. So let's try 70 instead of 80. Let's not be lazy a little bit. Okay, good. So I think this is fair enough. Let's leave it in with 70. So we have this, and this is actually cool. I like it. So let's leave it. Then the responsiveness of this. So on I want to say, okay, yes, there's no spacing on with this. There is no spacing. So if I good. So now let's give this 20 spacing. I think 20 spacing is what's giving this an issue. So for these two, we have to optimize it for tablets. So for tablets too, we just put it at 0. So then as for this, I don't know why on mobile it is giving the issue. Yeah, on mobile there is a good amount of button padding now. Okay, on mobile, let's even do this right. Then there should be padding here. Let's see. We've given it a good amount of padding. Let me give it 30. Maybe it's not seeing 20. Okay, so let's do the 20 here because I think it affects this a little bit. Yes, it affects this. So we're going to leave the 20. Then for some reasons known to this, let me check if the problem is coming from here. This is another let's see, there is no spacing or anything here. Let's reduce it like this. Let's just give it 50 or 60. Then let's publish because I don't know why that is not giving space, but I'm going to check it. Okay, good. So we have our space and we have this. This is beautiful. So for mobile, we will just reduce this a little bit. So it's going to balance well. Let's give it 50. I think this New Chicago is where the problem is. Okay, good. So Manhattan, New Chicago. Okay, still did not fix it. I don't think I can reduce it any further, so I prefer it being its usual size. So prefer being its usual size because this Chicago apartment is very long, so we have to reduce it to very small, and it may not be functional for us. But at least we know that we are dealing with the size that it's supposed to be. So this doesn't have any issue, this doesn't have any issue, and this, what we're just going to do is that we're going to reduce the size. So I'm going to come here, reduce the size to 40. Then as good, so we have this. So we're going to check for tablet. We're not checked for tablets for a while now because I feel tablets usually have its things figured out. So we're going to also have this 40. See 30. Okay, good. So as for this, tablet looks fine. So let's click on publish. So now the next thing that we are going to do is going to be working on the header and footer. So for the header, I felt this was too plain, so we are going to exchange it. So if you come to the header, when you select this, we're going to go to style and we're going to upload a new one to make it look much matured. So I'm going to select this, then I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select this. So as you can see, this look way much better. So I'm going to make it a little bit dark so we can see the details much better. Yeah, but not too dark. Yeah, something like this. And I'm going to publish so that we can see what it looks like. Yeah, I think this is much better. Then I think all we can do is add a little bit of come down here, I think. cover, should we just default to this? Okay, think cover still remains, then position center, right? Or should we use center right? Yes, I need this chair to show. So to show that, it's a furniture or stuff. So that's why I was trying to change the position. Good. So we have this showing here. So now, let's really go to the header and footer. We're going to be creating the header. So as you can see on our design, we have this beautiful header here. So we're going to be using Elementor to create the header. And there was a plugin that we installed in the beginning, which was Elementor's header and footer. Though that is a free plugin. So this is the plugin. So ultimate add-on. So this allows us to create headers and footer because we can't create header and footer without an Elementor Pro. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to um, header and footer. Then we're going to create add new. So now we're going to call this header. Then here you come here and choose header. You can have options to do before header, after header, or custom block. So depending on whatever you want to do. Then you're going to choose entire site because this is going to go the whole of the site. Then we're going to choose all. Then we're going to look. I don't think we need anything to do here. We don't have anything to do here. Check, nothing. Then we're going to click on publish. So after it's done publishing, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to click on Elementor, edit with Elementor. So editing with Elementor, if you notice, let me just close this one for now. So we have three sections: section 1, section 2, and section 3. So all we just have to do is click here. We are already familiar with this, and we have these sections like this. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to, let's check. I think this is a little bit wide. It's kind of wide. So first we need to change the background because that will be needed. So we're going to change the background to this. That's the terms color. Then the first thing we need to put is the logo. So we're going to click on our add element and search logo. Then we're going to add site logo. So this is the site logo, and we're going to full. Let's just use full, but we're going to reduce it, right? So we're going to use this to adjust it. So we're going to use this to adjust it. Then we're going to position it in the center. Okay, so I tried the alignment, and this is also for educational purposes, and it did not work. So what you're going to do is you can delete this. Instead of us using that, right, we'll just use an image. So we can also apply link to an image. So what we have to do is just bring in the logo itself. So that's my first time having that issue with that particular plugin. So if you're having that issue, this is a work around it. So we are going to reduce this to be very small, so it's not going to be so large. Then we're going to put it here. Then another thing that we are going to do is we are going to work on this section. So to do this, we are going to add a menu. So the menu we are going to be adding is going to be the menu from a UAE. So we're going to put it here. And as you can see, the menu comes in this way, but I want to change to something because the one that we have in our design is this. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the content layout, then we're going to choose flyout. So now for the flyout, we're going to position it on the left hand side, and if you click on it, what does flyout means? It pops up something here at the right. So we're going to adjust or do some little things. So we're going to pick from main menu, then let's see if there's anything. Last item, default. Then let's look at this slide push. Let me see push. Not really see push. No. So let's just leave it to slide. I feel slide does the job. Okay, So if you're not happy with this, we can change it, and actually we're actually having a custom um, design here. So in order to do that, we have to change it. And in order to change it, we have to use an SVG. So if you click on SVG to ask you to enable something, that's if you've not uploaded before. So I've already uploaded our icon here. Then you click on select. So immediately we select, you can see that that's already replaced the icon. And yes, we can still continuously use the X icon. So now to edit it, we have to come down to the styles. So now all these other ones, I feel we don't have issues with it, right? So there's no issues with it. And this is where we now start editing things. So here I would put it to, recently I've started using the second color. I don't know why. Then as you can see, this hover effect is not it yet. So I would work on the hover. So but normal color, when it is default, like when it's selected or inactive, we will just use white for now, right? And on hover we would do it subtle like this, so just in case you're asking what that is. Then on active we would still give it off white. So this is what it is. Then drop down, let's check if there's anything that we need to effect here. So now then drop down, if there is a drop down, we don't have drop down, so we don't really need to worry about this for now. Then menu triggers. So now what does this menu trigger mean? So if we had the color for the menu, that's the menu before we got to this page, let's just put it white just in case, because you never know with these tools, they can just misbehave. So I'm going to select white. Then for the close icon, I think I like this. I think I like this. I like the subtle this thing, so you can easily close it. I don't think we need to add anything to our menu yet again, so we close it. So we can easily have this and close it like this. So now the next thing we need to add to this is the shop. But for me, I feel if we have this, the shop is already here. But I know for easy UX UI, it's also very, very important. So we need to just add it there. Then we're going to call it, let's use the header text, because we need to add a menu to it. So we're going to use the header text. Then we are going to change it to paragraph, and we're going to write shop. So we're going to change the color to white. Then I think the white is in all caps, right? So we have it in all caps, and we're going to edit that and all caps. So to make this align in the center, we are going to do this, and we're going to change the direction. So one other thing that we need to do is we need to align this stuff to the middle. Like each and every body here should be centralized. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select everybody should be in the center. So if this is not in the center, I'm going to also make sure they are in the center. So to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. So here. So I'm going to publish first to see what we've done, right? So I'm going to click on the I button to know if we are on track, and beautifully we are on track. So what I need to do is the distance between this, I might give it 10, just give it 5. Yeah, that's beautiful. Then the shop icon, I think we have shop. I am not too sure about that yet. Let's search shop. Yes, we have a shop page. So we're coming soon to the e-commerce setup. So now when you hover around it, it's going to show you shop. So now this is the default button. Then when you hover around it, it's going to be a little bit lighter. So you won't see it there until we publish something like this, right? When you click this, you see this, like this is beautiful. So I think we have kind of solved the issues. Then this, we're going to add a link to it. So it's going to click to wherever we want it to click. So we're going to click on this, and we are going to add a link to it. So we're going to come here. We are going to add the home page. So yes, home page. So whenever someone clicks on it, it goes to the home page. We can also actually add um, an effect. So meaning when someone hover around it, if I click shrink, it just gives that effect. So that's one thing with Elementor. Building your header with Elementor gives you that I would say peace of mind in a way. So now the next one we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the bag or the cart. So we call it the cart. So now the first thing we need to, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So the reason why I am pasting it here is we are going to call this bag. I think we called it bag, right? Yeah, we called it bag. So we're going to call it bag. And we are going to add the carts. So these two, we're going to add it here, and we're going to add the cart. And here is the cart, this cart here. We're just going to add it. So the same thing we did with this, and centralize in the middle. The cart size, I may want to reduce it, but let's just put 5. No, okay, I think 10 will be okay. So now that is our bag, and every item here would be at the end. Yes. So now we're going to edit our bag a little bit. So our bag is definitely always going to be aligned left. Then we're going to change the color. So if there's anything that has to do with text, we would change it to white. That's the white, and the border too, we're changing it to white. So that's what we have here. So let's refresh. So I know that our bag here is slightly different because uh, Elementor is not so dynamic to make sure. For now, this is not pro, so we cannot dynamically create this to be standalone. So so we're going to be using this bag. Take us to the cart page, but we don't have a cart page for now, so we're going to use that. I think I just saw something. This went to the side and not to the middle, so we're going to try to fix that. So we're going to click on this and we're going to centralize it, and I'm going to refresh. So I don't know if that's going to do the same thing again. Let's go to cart page, and it still came to this. So we are going to check why it's doing that. To the center, click this to the center again, this again. Okay, for some weird reasons it's going there. I'm going to try to fix it later. So but let's round up on this. So I'm going to reduce the size. Okay, I think that's the size. That's the smallest it can be. Okay, not bad. Okay, so we have the bag, we have this, and we have this. Then the header. So we're going to add a padding. We're going to remove this padding. So I feel we having just 10. So also we also note that the stuff is very lengthy. So we're going to, first of all, before adding this, I think for the sides we're going to have right 20, left 20. So you see reasons why I am doing that. Then we're going to have 10, and we would have, I want to see how 10 is. 10, okay, I think 10 is big. Well, let's put it at 0 first to see what we have. So if it's not bad, we can adjust it later on. Okay, I think this is good. This is exactly what we are trying to achieve here. Okay, so so now let's check our home page to see what we have. So we have this on our home page. So now the next thing we're going to do is optimize it for mobile, and so for this is fine. For mobile, we're going to say no wrap. So for no wrap, we're going to adjust this and we're going to increase the size of this. And I feel this does the job. Like, this is beautiful. So then for mobile, I think we can have 10, 10. So at least it's going to give space for everything. So I wanted to apply something to this. I want to see how that would work. Space evenly. If it's this, if it's this. Okay, let me reduce this a little bit. Okay, so here too, I think it's fair enough. So we have to check if what this is what it is, right? So I'm going to click on the home page again, and I'm going to click on this. So as you can see, we have our bag, we have this, and this is the mobile. And isn't this beautiful? Like, is this not beautiful, guys? So if we click on this, we have this menu. We can cancel this, and this takes us to the shop page. Okay, for the shop page, I, for some weird reasons, I don't know why it's fighting with it, right? So I would check this to know why. Okay, so we are done with the header. Then let me see if I can figure out why this is doing this. On every other page is fine, so let me get to know why. So before I get to know why, I forgot that we need to convert this to full width. So now this is our full width. So now we have this. So if we go back to our page, we can have this. This is beautiful. So can have that smooth this thing. Then let's see if there's any significant change in the mobile. The mobile still remains the mobile, so this is good. This is good for us. So I know the Figma design is transparent, but when I check the transparent, the white isn't, sorry about that, the white isn't showing very well. Like, it's not really readable, so that is why I just converted it to this. Okay, so at the end of the day, I actually found a fix to it. It was just to upload the exact size, right? So I had to shrink it to the exact size that fits in. So on a normal page that is not the shop page, right? It does its normal thing and all the effects that we have with it, as you can see. But when it's on the shop page, for some reason best known to it, it doesn't use that effect. But you have everything that you want, and also it is also mobile responsive as well. So everything that we want we have, right? So the next thing that we are going to be doing is building the footer. Now we're going to be building the footer, and to build a footer, all we just have to do is go back to this page, go to header and footer. Then we're going to create add new. Then I'm going to call this footer. So after adding the word, I'm going to come here to put footer. I'm going to put entire site. I'm going to select all. Going to check if there's anything I need to do. I'm not seeing anything, so I'm going to click on publish. Then after clicking on publish, I am going to click edit with Elementor. Okay, so now looking at the footer, we have several sections. So the first one is going to be 4, where we have 4 sections like this. So we're going to come here, click this, and we're going to create 4 sections. So now after creating the 4 sections, we're going to start as usual. We'll start with 1, then migrate to the rest. So I'm going to zoom in. So first of all, I'm going to change the background, and I'm going to come to the background here. Then I'm going to select the background. Then the other thing we need to do is we need to give it a border. So we're going to click on advance, and when you click on advance, we are going to click on story style, and we're going to click on border, and we're going to add solid and only at the bottom. So we're going to call this white. So you may not see it until we add another layer or section to it. So the next thing is we're going to create these blocks. So this is a little bit kind of straightforward in itself, but there's a trick to this. So I am going to first of all put a header, right? So this is a header. but the header is not in our usual this thing. The header is in page. So I'm going to still use the header, then I'm going to call it store, then I'm going to paste it, then we're going to give it a color white. So this is going to be larger, right? So I would put this at 18. I think 18 is too much. I think 16. So then there's something, instead of me using, in your mind you'll be thinking, okay, I'm going to create all these many one after the other and the rest. So ideally I think this is what I've been using of recent, and I think I found a cheat to it. Icon lists. It's weird, but it does the job. Okay, so I have added the icon lists. I would come down to the icon and I'm going to add color to it. Don't worry, we're getting there. Then the text too, I'm going to add colors to it. Then hover, since it's going to end up being an a, what do they call it, a link. So we're going to have an hover, so meaning when they hover around it, this is how it's going to look like. So now for the first one, I'm just going to cancel these two and edit the first one, just delete this. So once we've done one, it's going to be easy to do the rest. You get, so I'll just simply come here, and all these are links. You come here and input the link. So that's how cool it is. So we'll do this. I'll just do one, then behind the scenes I'll duplicate the rest, so you can, I'm going to show you how I'm going to duplicate it, don't worry. Then we're going to duplicate that same thing. So whenever you have your main link that links to wherever they are going to go, you put it here. Then we have our contact us. So as you can see, we have this. Like if I go to my site, as you can see, we have this. Isn't this nice? And looking at our store, looking at our Figma design, this is exactly what we have. And I still like the spacing, right? But if we want to increase, if you want to increase the spacing, you can increase the spacing like this. So this is how we increase it, right? So let's just give it 10 to just give it more aesthetics. So now we notice that there is this line in between. So now if I put in that line, let's say I put in that line right here. So I'm going to go to background, then I'm going to put solid, then it's going to be at the right hand side, then white. So let's see what this gives us before we make any further decision on it. Okay, as you can see, it's not touching up, it's not touching down, right? So what are we going to do about that? So one thing we need to do, or we can do, is we're going to come here, right? And we are going to click here, meaning both edges are touching the whole thing. So then we are going to use this to differentiate, to give this margin. So let's give it I think let's see 30. So 30 is fine, 30 is fine. So if I give it 30 and I look at this, you can see that this is touching the very top, and this is exactly what we need it to do. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to delete the rest. I think we are done with almost everything in it. We need to check very carefully. So because once we've done this one, to duplicate wouldn't be an issue, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this and duplicate this into, I think, 4 places. Okay, good. So duplicating it into 4 places, this is what we have. And the next thing that we are going to try to do is to make sure to see how it looks like on our main page, because that's very important. So I'm going to clear this and check our home page. Then I'm going to go to the very bottom. So as you can see, we have this. This is actually lovely and exactly what we want to see. But it is starting at this edge which we have in our UI. It's starting almost similar to what we have here. So how do we go about that? Not that difficult. We click back here in the middle of this, and here you saw this. We are going to put on the left 30, don't worry, on the that's on the right 30, on the left 30, and we're going to turn this into full width. Click on the plus, then this is full width. Then we're going to go back to our home page because that is where we will know whether what we are doing is right or wrong. So as you can see, it is full width. To me, this is 100% fair. So we're going to remove this here. So that in order to do that, what we're going to do is just come back here, go to style, go to border, and we're going to put this at 0. So it's not going to be there anymore. So now next thing is I'm going to edit all this in the background, so you won't have to stress yourself to see it. So okay, so I am done with this, and I've created our first section of the footer. So the next section of the footer is for us to create this. Let me zoom out 70. So we're going to be creating this. So to do that, we can just simply duplicate actually. So we're going to duplicate, but this time around we are just going to delete this. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete this. Then this we would just come to style, come to border, and just put this at 0 first, and default. So now this by default has this, so we're going to relieve it of what it has. Then we're going to delete this, and we're going to delete this. So we're going to add an image here. So adding this image, we're going to pick up the logo that is at the bottom. Okay, perfect. So we are going to establish. So this is what we have, right? So I'm going to just hope this is not going to affect the e-commerce side, because that e-commerce side is now something very crazy. So what I did is I expanded it and it got to the actual size it's supposed to be. So let me check whether our e-commerce is going to say this one too is not what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to go to our bag, right? And okay, this time around it did not complain. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good. Okay, so the last but not the least is this page, right? So we're going to work on this last page. This is more like copyright. So, and this is also tagging the person that created this UI. In the beginning, I'm going to explain that and I know you guys have already had me say who did it. So we're going to delete this, and we're going to add this, and we are going to add this. So then we're going to add this. We're going to reduce this to 12. Okay, I think it's not pure white, so we're going to have a little bit of yeah, that's no, I think that's taking it from the lights. Okay, exactly. So we have that, and the next thing that we are going to do is to give it a little bit of small padding at the bottom. So okay, I think this is going to be it here. Is there any top and bottom? No. So we're going to give it 20. Okay, so let's refresh first. So there is the gap between is kind of much. We need to reduce it. So so I'm going to check this. I think there is a, yes, I knew that there was something wrong somewhere. Okay, So we're just going to have another section here, and we're just going to have this as or let's delete this, and we just duplicate this, and we would delete this here, and we just add spacer to this. Nothing biggie, nothing much. 25. So publish. We have this. So now if you refresh, let's go to our home page. Let's see how this looks like. So now if we come down here, we can see that this is looking beautiful. So we can remove the last stroke that is at the bottom. So if you check our design, there is no stroke. So what do I mean by stroke? So if you check this, there is still one last border. So we are just going to default it. So it's going to remove it by default. So we're not going to see it until we take it to somewhere like the home page to preview it. So as you can see, it's not there anymore. So we've gotten this, and this is it here. This is everything that we have built from the beginning, from the header to the footer. Then last thing, we're not rushing, optimization, right? To me, I feel this is going to be optimized. There's not going to be biggie with this. So yes, I just had the feelings that it's going to be optimized. Let's So there is a funny thing that is happening. Let's see if we can remove this. That's the borders from the right hand side. If it is in particular to mobile, yeah. So for mobile, we're going to remove it. We don't need it for mobile. For mobile, it's going to be 0. At least that is why it's always good for us to look at our site when we are done. So we're going to check it again to see if there's anything misbehaving. So looking at it, it's gone. So this is it, and we are done with this. The next is going to be how to add products, and we will be able to add the real product to our sites, customize on certain things. So let's get to there. And if you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe, like, and share this to people you think that it's going to be of help. So we're going to be creating a product category. So before creating the product, we need a product category. The reason why is because most products are under a category. So now, first thing, to create product category, we're going to go to products and we're going to go to categories. So now in category, as you can see here, we have collections. Some people call it collections, some people call it categories. So we have decors. We're going to just copy decors. We're going to paste it. Automatically the slug would be added by itself, right? There, this is more like uncategorized, but I used to, yeah, I still leave it as uncategorized. So parents, there's no parent here. Then if you need any description, and you can add image to a particular category, but we're not going to do that for now. We are just going to click on add category. So as you can see here, the category is added. So I'm going to do the rest behind the scenes so that we can move to the next thing. So now I've added all the other categories to it. So the next thing is how to add a product. So we're going to be adding our product to our store. So the first thing that we're going to do is it's going to ask us, do you want to add a physical product, or yeah, because it's going to be a physical product. So we're going to select physical products. But by default, it usually doesn't bring that. That's just like an onboarding stuff. So we're going to cancel this. Then we're going to name the product. So say for example, we are uploading this product. So this is native iron chair, right? So this is the product that we're going to be uploading. So the first thing we need to do is copy the name. So native iron chair. So now this is going to be, there's what we call short product description and long product description. So now for this, I'm going to put long, so you see where long product descriptions are on your page. Then here we are creating a simple product. This is not a group product, this is not an affiliate product, this is a single product. So we're going to click on simple product. It's not virtual, it's not downloadable product. So we're going to click here and we're going to put the price. So it's already in dollars, and we're going to select the price. Okay, so we have added the price to it. There's what we call inventory. You can add your inventory and you can say if it's out of stock or if it's still in stock, and track quantity. So if you click on track quantity, you can put how many quantity of this is available in the store. So if there is shipping, automatically ship all shippings will be added automatically. So if you have upsells and downsells, so the video is not particularly for upsells and downsells. I'm going to show you everything. So if you have attribute, take for example now there is different colors and other things. This is where you add your attributes here. So once we add this, I'm going to put here short description so you know where short description is going to be. So we have our short description. Then on the right hand side, very, very important, we have to select our product image. So we're going to select our product image. And once you select a product image, you can add more. If there are more colors to this, you can actually add it. Like for example, now there is a side view, whatever view you can add to this. So now we're going to remove it from this, and let's just say this is furniture because it's a chair something. So if you have tags like furniture and some other things, you can put a tag to this. I don't think there's any other important thing that we have to do here. So once you are done, you click on publish. So once you click on publish, you can actually now visit your store. So if I click on this, this is what we have here. We can see the name, product, and add to cart. So short description, this is where short description appears, and this is where long description appears, as you can see it here. So if we also go to our shop, okay, this is cart, go to shop. Okay, I've forgotten there's a shop button here. So let's go to shop here. So as you can see, this is our shop and has our products here. We'll get to where we are going to add some settings. So I'm going to add two more products behind the scenes, and we are going to now modify the shop page. So to add a new product, just in case, if you click on all product, this is what you would see. So we have the ability to edit everything. You have the different categories. This is more like filter by whatever you want to filter. So to add a new product, all you just do is click here, and you can export your product. Take for example, now you want to export to another site for some certain reasons, right? You can also export your product. So I would now add new product or add the remaining products. Okay, so I've been able to add all our products, and I'm going to refresh the store. And as you can see, all the products are already in the store here. So what we need to do now is to customize our store page. So now what we need to do is we need to go down to WooCommerce. So now first, store notice. This is just a demo. We don't need to do anything here. But if your store wasn't coming soon, though we have some visibility that we're going to work on here, but not in this particular chapter. So we're going to nothing to see here. So now this is where we have the product catalog, almost what we call the archive page. That's this page. So if I turn this off, you would see that that guy there would turn off. This is much cleaner, right? This is much way more cleaner than what we're seeing there, but we can actually make it better, right? So one way to make it better is if we had a background. So if we add the background and we add an image to the background, say this image that we've been using for our header, we have that to it, then we leave it like that. So then if we now say, okay, the text, we would change it to white. So it's going to be more than, probably we can have an overlay if we want. Don't worry, I'm going to reduce it so that they can see it. So we have this. So we can choose to have this or just plain, but from based on what we have been doing, this is way much better. So I just have to show you the two so you know what to use and if you want to use it. So now this is breadcrumbs. So there are no breadcrumbs here. So if it's not turned on, but I'm going to turn it off. So title, everything that you are seeing here, I don't think we need to do much. But coming down here, there's something that is very important. So if we come down to button style, then come down very well here, we would now have to for anything that has to do with mobile. So we're going to choose two, meaning instead of one, you are saying you're going to see two products. Don't worry, it looks squeezed here, but this is not how it's going to look like on our mobile. Then we quickly pass through some certain things. Then all this one, show this, show that. You can think and play around with this. But all this I didn't touch is because they are very important and they are already good as they are here. So you can make it 4 rows, 3 rows. The world is your oysters. So yep, single product, very important. So what does single product mean? If I click on one product, right, is a single product. So sometimes I remove breadcrumbs. Most of the times, some people like it, some people don't like it. So to just make it clean, so I remove breadcrumbs. Then you can work on your page if there's anything that you feel like you want to change. So there are some other plugins that you can, bring in to advance your store. But for now, this is as simple as we need. So other things can be added. Take for example, if I turn on payments, right, I can add this to my store, and I can also, so people's like a guarantee checkout. Then we have extras, so no hassle. I usually don't like it, so anything that would make people run away from my store, like their delay time and every other thing, I do shy away from it. So we can have this as well. It's still loading. So this is the plus. I turn this one on. This is what it means, plus and minus, very important. um Product variation image, so that's if we have different variations. So this tab, we can put it in the center if you want, but I think this works best for now. Show heading, everything here. So related products, there are going to be product that will be under here. If they are related product that is under this category, they will be at the bottom here. So you can choose 4, 3, and whatnot. So to me, this is fine, and this is already is all right. So you can also change the text if you want. So all the text, the content and everything type here, we can change it and alter anything that we want it. But for me, this is looking much okay. So my account layout. So if you go to my account, yes, it's also a very important page. You can see my account, and so this is very, very important. This is, for example, now we are having some crisis when it comes to colors, and so now by default it's saying black, it's showing white. So if I put it that all our text, meaning anything that has link, would show black first. Then on hover, we reduce it to show something like this, meaning if I hover around it, it reduces. So this is perfect for anything that has link in our site. So you can see orders and everything here. So browse no order. So now I think going back to our WooCommerce, we don't really have much to do here anymore, right? So if there's anything, I would always definitely come back to it. So once you are done and it feels like nothing changed, remember this guy, just clear it. You see that your store would have the current edits, so it catches your site. So as you can see, we have the current settings. So as we did that, there are some things that have affected the site. So if you notice, if you come down to our header, these links, we didn't apply major colors on them, so they have been affected a little bit. So we are going to make sure that is not the case, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to click on edit header. So let's check the button if there's anything like that. No, so we're going to click on edit header. So we are going to make sure, because Elementor, I don't know why it is clashing with that. So I think here we already had chosen the color for it. So we've already chosen a color for it. So it should be on its own. Okay. Just want to confirm it's choosing the color. So to fix the constant issue that we are having with the other pages taking different colors, I had to go to settings, Elementor, then I just turn off this. If you remember this in the beginning, right? So I just turn it off. But the only thing is that it's going to cost us our home page. So if you are going to have this issue later on, all we just have to do is um, come back to our home page and just edit some certain things. So for example, now this color here, I don't know why it's still picking this. We can we'll just change it to what we had before, and that's all. So we had this, and we had this strong color. Then the background was black. Background was black, and the text was white. So we have this. What other thing did it touch? So if there's any other thing it touch, you can manually edit the color. So me, I'm gonna just do this. So it's not something very difficult. So I'm just going to do this behind the scene and apply everything where it affects. You get, so since it's just giving us a series of issues because of the theme colliding with Elementor, you get. So I'm going to do this behind the scene. So the next page that we're going to be going into is actually editing the WooCommerce general settings. So if you're having still issues with the header, there are two things you need to do. So toggle between turning off colors and if you come down to the home, that's the header menu, you can toggle between default and theme. One of it should give you the solution, because I think at this moment Elementor is bugging. So yes, one of these should give you a fix to these issues that we are having. So next we are going to be working on WooCommerce settings. So the first thing is we need to check each and every one of our pages for the WooCommerce to make sure they are working properly. So now if I add to cart, right, and I view cart, is the cart properly arranged? So looking at our cart, I don't think we have any problem with our cart page. Okay, so if we proceed to checkout, so our checkout 2 seems to not have any problem. Everything seems to be in order, right? So I think we don't have issues with that. So now let's go to the main WooCommerce settings. So if you go to WooCommerce home, WooCommerce has orders where you find all your products that has been ordered. You find your customers that have bought your product, coupons, FiboSearch, we're coming to see it soon, report, settings, status. So now we're going to settings, which is the most important thing. So now this is where you put your address and everything. So this store is by default US store, and you can put everything and enable tax if your business is tax compliance, but most business are. Right. So then you have your shop page, which we've already chosen shop page to be our shop page. So redirect to anytime we add products, you can choose to redirect, meaning whenever as we added our products from the home page. Let me close some of this page so that we don't get confused. We don't need you again anymore. Same thing with you. So anytime we add a product here, when we added this to cart, right, it just stayed here, but if we turn it on, it would open in another page. So let me refresh this page, and if I save, I've not saved, you have to save first, and I click on add to cart, it's going to take us, it's supposed to take us to the add to cart page. Let's refresh, let's go to shop again and try that. So you can see it's taking us to add to cart page. So you can choose to turn it off or not. So placeholders, sizes, enable reviews. Reviews can only be left by verified owners. Yes. So people that have bought the product. Then save. So now we can look at inventory. There are many settings here. So you can take your time to look at them and choose which, because they are not complex. So this was for downloadable products. So for shipping, you can actually add your shipping zones to it. So to add a shipping zone, you click on add shipping zone, and let's say we ship everywhere worldwide. So we call this worldwide. Then you can add your shipping method. So you can say free shipping, and you have a flat rate for all. So you can pick a flat rate. So it's taxable, and the cost for shipping all over the world is $14. Let's just say, for example, now this is how you add your shipping. But if you feel like it's not everywhere, you can put in your time zones and everything that you want to put here. So then you have shipping settings. So this is where say high shipping cost until address is entered. So these are just things you read and see, okay, are these supposed to be things I want? And if I don't want them, you can leave them, but you have to go through all of them, right? So local pickup, if you want local pickup, you can enable local pickup. It's going to ask you to add your location. Then payments. So this is where you activate your payment. So if we have a payment method, we can install it, right? Install this thing. So then we have other payment methods that we can install here. So we can activate offline payment method, right? For now. So we can just say cash on delivery. We enable cash on delivery. So we click on manage, and if it's not turned on, you can see it here. So you can see cash on delivery. Then if you choose pay with bank transfer, let's say we enable this and you click on manage it. So this is where you put direct bank transfer, and this is where you put the account number. So you can put the country. So let's say we use United States, not Uganda. So you can say United States, just put in any account balance. Let's just put some name. Let's just put anything. So when you save, the details that you find here, you are going to see it when you want to check out. So that is how you use direct, or you connect the payment method to it. So this is just privacy policy option, right? On checkout, enable. So this is enable login during checkout. So users can log in during checkout. Then allow customers to create an account. You can choose this preference. All these are preference during checkout. On my account page, I usually like it here, and also I also like it here. So enable login during checkout. Yes, I like that. Okay, I think this is okay for now. Then I'm just gonna click on save. Then you have your email. Email too is also very important. So this is at all the emails that you would receive, right? So you can see the name of the sender. This is where we can add our logo to it, the colors and everything. And this is also very, very important. This too is important. So I'll show you how that looks like. So at the end of your stuff here, you would see that it's saying the name of the site, then location. You get store address. So then you change the color to your own color. If your color is not purple, if you don't like this, you can change the colors here. So we have integrations. So if you have any integrations of any sort, you can put them here. Site visibility, very, very important. Once your site is live, you can just put live, and the site is live, and you will be able to receive customers. So this is point of sales. That if you have any point of sales, that's a store. This is where you put your store address, put your information, and refund policies. And these ones are advanced settings, so you can play around them. This is where you want to change your cart IDs, and when we are doing some advanced stuff, right, you can come here to do them. For now, we don't have to do anything here. So the next thing we are going to do is going to add FiboSearch, and you see what it can do for us. In WooCommerce, search is one of the most important things. So that's why we installed FiboSearch. So never miss important updates. We're going to skip. So now FiboSearch allows us to search with WooCommerce. So we're going to click on advanced settings, click on replace bars, then just save these settings for now. Then we would now start editing few things. So as you can see, sometimes I usually like to reduce this thing to 300, but sometimes it doesn't hear word, but we try as much as we can. So this is what we can do. You don't need to do so much, just edit this here. So now layouts on, So you said on desktop, icon on mobile, search on desktop. So on mobile, this is what it's going to look like, right? So and you can still leave it both search on mobile and search on this thing. So another thing again is autocomplete. You can see what is going to search price products. You can search products by product image. You see the product image, you see the product price when you see the result. And I think this is very, very important. Then show tags. Not really, we don't need that. So that's during the search. This is during search. So search in description. So when you search a thing, it's going to search description. It's going to search short description and long description. That if you are searching a product, so you can look at this. It has tons of stuff that if you can go for the premium, right? It's going to be good. So this is going to be analytics. So what does this analytics do? Such an analytics system helps to estimate search phases. That don't return results. You can read it up and yeah, show we get with critical searches on dashboard. So we're going to just start this here. So now this is everything that you're going to see there. So at the end of the day, let's come down and add it to our website. So we're going to go to appearance, and under appearance we're going to go to menu. So under menu, we have the FiboSearch here. So we're just going to click on FiboSearch and add to it. So we've already added it here, see it here. Then we're going to save. So now we're going to refresh. And if you click here, you see it here. So take for example, now we are looking for a product called, so that was a product we added to cart. So now we are looking for a product called native iron. So if I go to my search here and I click on native, so you see it's loading and you can see two native comes in and we can easily click to go to the particular product page. So that is one thing and why I love Fibo search.